There we go. In the morning, trolls. No pre-stream. Sorry about that. Too busy. Let's see.
All right.
All right. Where are we now? Let's see. 2. Oh, this is not right yet.
Number 1.
Now, we always start with 2, 2, 2. That is, if you're a professional.
Professionals never say 3.
No, of course not. That would be so wrong. 2, 2, 2, 2. Let me see if this works.
Last night, the United States brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
I found it.
It's about time.
Baghdadi.
What was it called?
It was called Big Daddy and the Tunnel.
Has been searching
Wow, I know.
for many years. Baghdadi, he died after running into a dead-end tunnel. Baghdadi, and he died in a vicious and violent way. He died like a dog. Baghdadi in the tunnel.
Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi in the tunnel.
Baghdadi, and now he's gone. Baghdadi, Bakr, he died like a dog. Baghdadi, running and crying. Baghdadi, I got to watch much of it. Baghdadi in the tunnel.
Baghdadi in the tunnel. And now he's gone. And his head is gone. Okay. So that's good. That's all pretty good. Now let me just get the donation jingles. Where are we? Okay. Cheers. See, is this the one? Yep. What is this? Shape. Yes. Huh?
Restart to install the latest Windows updates.
Yeah, I got that this morning too, but no, not allowing, denied. Oh, brother. Fucking jingles. Okay. Shush. Okay, what's next here? T-douche. Cha-cha. Okay, got it. Abu, Abu, Abar, Abba, Abu, Abu, Abar, Baghdadi. Baghdadi. Whoo, Baghdadi. Oh, Baghdadi, Bam-a-lam. All right. I think.
Fat lady!
Oh, she's so loud.
Fat bitch! Valkyrie!
All right, everybody. You know what it means. Hello, everybody. It's that time once again as we pound out the bat signal for you. Go ahead.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Test concluded. Excellent test. Okay. Clean up the barrel. Okay. Could you give me just a quick mic check?
Sure. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is the mic working?
No. You sound horrible.
Oh, you want to check to see how my voice is? I thought you want to see if the mic was working. That's different. Yeah, I know. I'm hilarious.
Not really.
I'll be here all the week.
Not really. It's. I've heard better. But okay.
So did you know there's a lot of comedians that do podcasts?
Now, is this another trick question that I'm supposed to... Are you going to do something to me again, depending on my answer? Yes. I found something else out today. Well,
Yes.
actually, I'll save it for the show. I should save it for the show. What am I thinking?
There's something else you're supposed to say for the show that is supposed to be on today's show. What was it? Are you laughing because I don't know the answer? When it comes to this sort of thing, we stink. That's our main weakness.
What, that we can't prep anything?
Well, we don't prep anything. It's fine. I don't think that's a weakness. It's that we do have, with each other, we say, well, we got to talk about this. Let's talk about the next show. That's the weakness. We never do. Or we lose it. Or
Yeah.
we lose track. Or the note-taking is not well done. Or it's put aside and then lost.
Well, typically, if it's something I have to talk about, I'll write it down. I think if you need to write...
really?
Yeah. Yeah. But I forget to.
Well, here comes the Zephyr.
Well, hold on. Let's start
Hold on, here we go.
No. I do not want to hear it. I want the report after the opening. Okay, we're ready. Let's go. Let's do it.
Hit it.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, September 13th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1277.
This is No Agenda.
Saving it for the show and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33.
1277.
What did I say?
1276.
No, I didn't.
I'm sure you did.
Did I say 1276?
Well, that's what I heard anyway.
Well, let me hear it again. Report after
Okay,
the
here we
opening.
go. Ready?
John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, September 13th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1277. I heard 77.
It sounded like it didn't even sound like a 6 or a 7.
No Agenda.
Media Assassination episode 1277. It sounds very much like
Oh,
a
that sounded like 77. Okay, my ears are just accumulating.
Accumulating parsley.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, September 13th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1277.
This is No Agenda.
Saving it for the show and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the smoke is clearing up, and I've got my electrostatic precipitator working fine. And by the way, the Zephyr had 8 cars. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
And we start off with...
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
We've got the Zephyr Economic Report. We've got 8 cars, regular moving economy. We have Bitcoin at 10,250.
And the train was on time
That's good.
and running at normal speed.
What is an electrostatic precipitation device? Is that an ionizer?
No. Electrostatic precipitator literally takes the particles out of the air and makes them stick to a charged plate,
Okay. And
which has to be washed every so often.
And what do you use this for?
It's particularly good for pulling smoke out of the air, small particles
So
of smoke.
tell me, what is going on? I mean, obviously the photography we see is meant to look beautiful. It's beautiful to see the San Francisco and the Golden Gate Bridge in a beautiful orange glow. But this doesn't seem like it's good up there. Now, what is the actual What is the visibility?
The disability?
The visibility.
Oh. It's probably, yesterday it was like, when I put the pictures in the newsletter, the visibility was about, I'd say 1,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Today, it looks to be a quarter of a mile.
I mean, I was hearing people who were in parts of Northern California who, like, I can't see more than 3 yards ahead, like 10 feet.
No. That's nonsense.
Well, maybe a little bit further away from where you are. Is that possible?
No, I'm going to be it's pretty bad everywhere because of the nature of the winds going in the wrong direction.
Right. Well, it's all
So
climate.
it's pretty much the same in the whole Bay Area. And 3 yards, 9 feet, you might as well just kill yourself. You'd be coughing. You wouldn't be outside. You wouldn't be able to see in your own home.
Well, as you know, this is not something that is new. If you look at the history of California, this is not.
Well, we haven't had Santa. Actually, there's just kind of a different situation. It's like started off with Santa Ana winds, which usually always causes fires, and it has historically. And then it became just kind of still. So there's no real wind.
Well, back in the day, if you remember this one,
You might die sucking in soot.
yeah, hot damn, it was President Obama.
You might die sucking in soot.
It was much worse in the 70s and 80s, wasn't it?
No.
Okay.
No, because they used in the 70s and, well, the 80s maybe it got pretty bad, but when I was an air pollution inspector, during the era that the air pollution district was formed right after.
You say that kind of like, listen up, I speak with authority when I was an air pollution inspector, and you were indoctrinated by the Borg.
The air pollution districts around the country are all formed after the London death smog.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. When people are told, "Oh, don't worry about it. Everything will be fine."
Everyone got all freaked out, and so they put the one in L.A. together, and then they put one up here, and then they put a bunch across the country. Mm-hmm. But California was always a problem, and so they had these districts, and the idea was to cut down everything. So they cut down a lot of the pollution, but one thing they kept doing, at least while I was there, and I was there for almost a decade, was controlled burns.
Oh, right.
And they would have these, it was just, when the weather was just right, so it was going to get blown out to Nevada or wherever the smoke was going to go.
Which is always the right way to go.
As long as it goes out of the district.
As long as it goes out of the state. Yes, good.
So,
I guess was there no coordination with the Nevada pollution people? We're just like, hey, it's coming your way.
We had a number of groups that did these burns. There was, besides the fire departments who did lots of them, there was also Ducks Unlimited and a bunch of other people that did these controlled burns so they could have their areas for duck hunting. We had to preserve the ducks by making it so the ducks had a place to breed. And these controlled burns, if I'm not mistaken, took place pretty much all year round. And they also had the fire breaks, and they had more logging, and they had it was all pretty well maintained. And the amount of fires we had like this over the last 5 or 6 years, there were never any of these. I mean, historically, and you read, I think, a report from the 1800s or the 1700s.
Oh, yeah. It's like 1870. The guy said, why would you ever want to live here? The land is on fire. It's sliding away into the ocean. All the same things.
Yes, that is the way it is naturally. California is naturally fire prone. But when it was being controlled, and they put effort into not allowing these things to happen, they were very rare. That's why these are all record breakers.
Now, was this?
There's more than ever.
Now,
this land has been here a long time. It's been burning for a long time. So how do we have these record-breaking events? It's because they don't do anything about it. They don't do the fire breaks, the logging, the controlled burns. They don't do any of that. Okay. As far as I can tell, I haven't heard of a controlled burn for 10 years.
So was that a climate change thing that they stopped doing?
No, it was done to prevent these fires. There was no.
No. The fact that they stopped burning.
No, it was I bet there was an element of climate change. I think there was the environmentalists and, you did, this is natural to have these. No, let's don't do that. Let's don't do that. I don't know. They got their hooks into the system, and next thing you know, we got no control of burns. We got nobody doing anything, and now we got these fires, and everybody bitches and moans and blames it on climate change.
What complicates this is the Oregon fires, and there's two stories that make it very complicated. Story number one is report after report, and I put them all into the show notes. Report after report of the police and other people catching people lighting these fires. And now the question is that part of like a Black Lives Matter protest, riot initiative, or is that something else? Why Oregon? Is Oregon known for its fires typically?
No.
And then I have to bring it back up again, but when you see when you see a lot of these fires and you're seeing drone footage, it's very odd to see what burned and what didn't burn. And this was even worse with the camp fire in California. That was that last year already?
I think it was last year.
Last year. Which leads a lot of people to believe that there was some kind of, here it comes, directed energy weapons used, which is, it's not like impossible. We've our own military has demonstrated a laser that can burn a hole in the hood of a car from a plane. It's possible that these are being set to just cause more crap, particularly in Oregon, which would be an interesting place to do it.
So Mimi's been looking at the Oregon stuff, and she sees there's an obvious pattern of some guy driving up one of the, like, Highway 5 and setting fire after fire after fire.
Yeah.
And the other excuse is, well, there may have been a truck with a chain, there was some chain hanging us enough sparks.
I don't believe
road
that.
Fires. But there, it looks like a pattern of arson, and if you read the Oregon papers, not the national news, they've caught plenty of guys that are lighting these fires off, and they're throwing them in jail.
Yeah, here I have woman accused of intentionally starting fires on Highway 101. Man arrested on arson allegation and wildfire west of Eugene. Arson suspect arrested after allegedly starting multiple fires in Spokane. Eastern Washington woman arrested for starting fires while crews work to fix fallen power lines. And then there was the fantastic story of the gender reveal party that included some pyrotechnics, which then set the landscape on fire. Stop with this, you people. But I
think there's a lot of arson going on. Oregon's out of control. It's the governor, a weak system, and they're taking advantage of it. And they were setting Portland on fire if they could.
That's what I think the idea is.
And I think it is Antifa. Let's blame who it is, or if it's not Antifa, then it's just the other side trying to blame Antifa. But the people they've arrested so far, they haven't done enough background on them to let us know what's going on. They won't tell us.
Yeah.
California's a different story, and we just have this issue. And when you see these, with the campfire, sometimes you'll see a whole area burnt, and there's some house standing alone. You see this also in hurricanes.
But you see. Just hurricane and fire, just not the same thing. But if you look
but you see these weird phenomenon where somehow it's like people who walked out of Hiroshima. I mean, it's just a lot of it's just a natural phenomenon. I don't believe there's somebody poking the area with energy.
No, I didn't expect you to believe it, but
And I will say this: if you're doing that and you catch the area on fire, why doesn't it carry over to the one house that's just still there standing?
Well, it's not just about the houses. What you're seeing is, and plastic is kind of the best example. So you'll have a plastic fence, which is unaffected, maybe a little bent just because of sheer heat, but anything that was attached to metal, I mean, there was aluminum melting, aluminum car blocks melt. It's this, sorry, but it's the exact same thing you saw all around the World Trade Centers on 9/11. Stuff that was melting that just couldn't melt from these regular fires. And there's a lot of that around the Paradise Fire, entire cul-de-sacs where the trees are all there. The houses are burned, the trees are there. And it was, the reports are intense heat. All of a sudden, the house was on fire. Boom, that was it. I'm just not so sure.
Yeah, okay. Well, you can go off in that direction. A lot of these, I mean, the trees are still there. They're not like living trees anymore. The aluminum will melt in a firestorm. you get those fires, they start whipping around. You get those they look like little tornadoes, and they get pretty hot, and they can melt aluminum. It's not like they're melting steel necessarily. They can bend it.
Yeah.
It's just doable. I mean,
okay.
No,
neither of us can show it either way.
What would be the point?
Well, in Oregon, what would be the point? In my mind, for the past 6 months, we've been under attack from China in every way possible. Why wouldn't they just throw some flames on the fire, throw some gas on the fire?
Why California?
No. I'm not talking about Oregon. I'm just using that as an example. That was the Paradise Fire. I'm saying Oregon. Why Oregon right now? It's either
Oregon's out of, Oregon has a bunch of punks up there that are trying to, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish, but they've definitely taken over Portland.
Yeah. And who says that isn't China too? We don't know.
Well, I'm not going to argue that part, but
yeah, sadly. Well, actually,
but what does China want from Oregon? I mean, geez.
Well, unrest, strife. Oregon's still the place. Portland in particular. It's the place to create crazy stuff. People who listen to the show are emailing me panicked. I got emails saying,
do they live in Oregon?
Yes. I got emails from people in Oregon saying, don't wait for John. Don't even wait for the show. Do the rain stick now. Now, first of all, I'm sorry. You can't do that. It doesn't work. It has to be on the show. I have no powers. Second, we have 2 more days. We did the rain stick on the previous show. It's a 5-day delay. So we're going to have to wait 2 more days to see if we need to do any more work. So the rain should be there in the next day or 2. That's just how the stick works. And then 3 days after that, Austin will get flooded off the back end of the radial. See how professional I made that sound?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. We will get back to all of that in a moment. At least you're okay. That's good. California's doing okay. Oregon, not so okay. And many people in California think they're not okay, actually. But in Australia, where the COVID script is unraveling or rolling out as it's just completely predictable. It's all the same stuff. The one difference with the Australian situation, which comes now, 5-6 months after we've been through most of this, is the officials who speak. And we heard, was it Dan? I don't know if it was Dan Andrews who talked about the see you next Tuesday. I thought that was pretty interesting. They just threw that out there in a press conference. But now, and it's just colorful. You got to love it. Here's the assistant commissioner. So kind of the assistant, I think that's like of all, maybe the assistant commissioner of police, assistant commissioner of law enforcement. I don't know. He had a uniform on and he gave a briefing and he was not happy and he let everybody know about it.
An assistant commissioner has unleashed on anti-lockdown protesters. Luke Cornelius described his frustration at having to prepare the force to face another round of demonstrations this weekend.
To be honest, I feel a bit like a dog returning to eat his own vomit. I mean, it's just, none of us would want to do that, and I'm sick of it. Please don't leave home to engage in an activity which is going to spread.
I just love that. We should have our guys coming out and saying, well, here I am. Feel like a dog going back to eat his own vomit. Can you imagine?
Yeah, there's something Trump would say and he'd be given, I don't know what they do about it.
Yeah, so Trump is on tour again, and it's kind of interesting. Of all the things that I hear about this Woodward book, and Bob Woodward, of course, from the Watergate uncovering, he did an interview with Trump in February, and he recorded it, and that was all. It was with the president's acknowledgement that that was okay to record it, and so now there's just this he knew it was much worse. It was just horrible. He didn't say anything. He was lying. But they never really play the audio. Have you noticed this?
It's floating around.
It's floating around, but have you seen them incessantly play audio clips? No. So
No, they don't.
No.
The audio is available. You can find it, but they don't play it as part of. No, of course not. It wouldn't fit into the package.
Well, let's listen to Trump on Tour regarding the Bob Woodward book, and then we'll listen to a little audio excerpt so we can kind of put the two together. This is, where was President Trump here? I don't know. It was this weekend.
America will prevail over the...
Sorry?
I said most of the good stuff was in North Carolina.
That was probably where this was from, yeah.
America will prevail over the China virus. As Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. That's it. We're doing very well. As the British government advised the British people in the face of World War II, keep calm and carry on. That's what I did. This whack job that wrote the book, he said, well, Trump knew a little bit. They wanted me to come out and scream, people are dying, we're dying. No, we did it just the right way. We have to be calm. We don't want to be crazed lunatics. We have to lead. When Hitler was bombing, I don't know if you know this, when Hitler was bombing London, Churchill, great leader, would oftentimes go to a roof in London and speak. And he always spoke with calmness. He said, we have to show calmness. No, we did it the right way, and we've done a job like nobody. All of those great generals, all of those great admirals, our great Vice President Mike Pence, they did a fantastic job. Our doctors, and they don't get any credit because they want to discredit us as much as possible because they wanted to carry over to November 3rd, but we've done a fantastic job. I think we've probably done the best job of any country, certainly of any major country.
Foam finger number one! Yes, so it's interesting that he uses he uses one FDR quote, which is the appropriate one. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And then he's doing Churchill. That's just kind of weird. And, well, I guess he loves Churchill, but he could have done a couple more American examples. Merca, baby. Merca.
I don't know.
He didn't do Merca.
I want to play the Kayleigh response to the Woodward complaints, although when she did the press conference and this came up, there was more than just this. Okay. But it's kind of gives a little insight into what's going on.
About the Woodward interviews. Did President Trump intentionally mislead the American people about the threat of COVID, a pandemic that has now cost the lives of nearly 200,000 Americans?
Absolutely not. This president, at a time when you're facing insurmountable challenges, it's important to express confidence. It's important to express calm.
Always play it down. Is playing it down, is that expressing calm? It seems dishonest. It seems
Can you read the rest of the quote?
That's how much they put in there.
Oh, you excluded the last part.
We'll play the full thing on 60 Minutes.
Please do explain.
The American
please, of course I deny that.
Pandemic.
And he makes clear that he doesn't want to see chaos, by the way, is the second part of the quote, which you failed to read. The president, just days after having this discussion with Bob Woodward, said this from this podium. On March 30th, he said, I do want them to stay calm. We are doing a great job. If you look at the individual statements, they're all true. Stay calm. It will go away, but it's important to stay calm. So this president does what leaders do, good leaders. It's stay calm and resolute at a time when you face an insurmountable challenge. That's what this president has
done. It will not appear that the president lied to the American public about the threat posed by COVID.
The president has never lied to the American public on COVID. The president was expressing calm, and his actions reflect that.
Do you know who the journalist was asking the question?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think it was it may have been Nancy Cordes. It may have been, I don't know.
Well, what's interesting
I really don't know who it was because it wasn't indicated.
Well,
she usually says,
she hasn't heard any of these clips. She only was reading half a quote. This is what's so interesting, and I have a couple examples of that for this particular show. So if we go and listen to, and this, they brought out Jamie Gangle, I think her name is. Let me see. I think it's Jamie Gangle. From CNN. I think I recognize her, but she seems like one of these journalists who was around when Woodward, Watergate, on that reporting. So she's probably
pretty old.
As I said, she looked like she was from okay, you with me? She looked like one of those senior emeritus journalist. And he said, okay. And I had to leave the whole intro in because it's so serious. When you hear the lie, how Trump lied. What he was really thinking is so different. He's lied.
Remember, for those of us from Watergate, Howard Baker, what did the president know and when did he know it?
Let's tie it back to that. This is exactly the same. What did the president know and when did he know it?
The false equivalent. Hold on a second. I like the false equivalency of a criminal, a situation that was a violation of criminal law and people lying about, I didn't do anything. As opposed to somebody trying to stay calm. I mean, one of the talk show right-wing talkers made a big point of this. He said, with the little information that got out, look what happened to toilet paper. We don't need a panicked American public. You couldn't get masks. You couldn't get toilet paper. I mean, if Trump had come out and I don't know what he would do to, just go nuts and tell everybody what might be going on, even though I don't think he was that far off from what's actually happening. I don't think he lied at all, to be honest about it. But
no, well, let's listen to the clip. But I just want to point out how they're, again, because Woodward's name is there, they're trying to set the stage like it's just like Watergate. Here comes our hero again.
Remember, for those of us from Watergate, Howard Baker, what did the president know and when did he know it? That's what Bob Woodward lays out in this book. And what we know is from Woodward's account that on January 28th, his national security advisor, Robert O'Brien, tells him in a top secret briefing, this is going to be the greatest threat of your presidency. At the same time, the president is, as you said, playing it down. But what Woodward did with the president's permission was he recorded all of these interviews. There are 18 wide-ranging interviews. And what we're going to play you first is the president in his own words, February 7th, telling Woodward in striking detail just how much he understands about how deadly and dangerous the virus is.
Okay. So are you ready? I mean, this is going to be so scary that he knew everything.
I'm on the edge of the needles.
On the edge of the chaise. I'm telling you.
I'm at the end of the edge of the chaise. I'm leaning forward. I'm looking. I'm leaning. I'm hunched over.
I know. We'll get to it right after this break on CNN.
And so, what was President Xi saying yesterday?
Well, we were talking mostly about the...
This is how long ago it was. This is when we still didn't really know what was happening, and he was still talking to Xi, trying to figure, because we had just signed a deal. 2 weeks earlier, we had just signed our China agreement.
President Xi saying yesterday.
Well, we were talking mostly about the virus, and I think he's going to have it in good shape, but it's a very tricky situation. It goes through air, Bob. That's always tougher than the touch. The touch, you don't have to touch things, right? But the air.
And this is what's baffling to me. He is saying that in February we knew it was aerosolized. It was transmitting through the air. Woodward's all like, oh yeah, this brother. Where was Fauci on this? Where was everybody? In fact, they denied this. They denied it, and now it turns out it's true. So there's a lot of weird stuff here.
Tougher than the touch. The touch, you don't have to touch things, right? But the air, you just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. People don't realize we lose 25,000, 30,000 people a year here. Who would ever think that, right?
I know. It's
pretty amazing. And then I say, well, is that the same thing? This is more deadly. This is 5 per. This is 5% versus 1% and less than 1%. So this is deadly stuff.
Oh my! As it turns out, if you actually listen to it, it's not all that shocking. This was the news we had at the time. That had an RO, if you remember that, R0, the R0, that initially the scientists said was 5. And,
right.
And so that's what the president is referring to. And at the time we were saying, well, that's quite a bit more than the typical 1 or 1.2, or if you get a flu, it should be less than 1. And he's saying this all the same. This is no lie. No wonder they can't play this over and over.
We heard all this at the time.
Yes.
That's when we had the 2 million dead number came out.
Yeah. And then...
So how is this now a scandal?
Well,
I'm asking you.
Oh, well, hello? What do you mean? Orange man bad. Orange! What do you mean? How is this a scandal? Don't ask me these things, man. Don't ask me these things. Scandal. You know why it's a scandal. Oh, brother. Here's just a quick rundown of some other stuff that's taking place, because this is not over. The grasp for control is crazy. Let's see. In New York, Democrats intend to provide the governor, Cuomo, with the authority to identify, forcibly remove, and or jail anyone who tests positive for COVID-19. This is State Assembly Bill A99.
Here's what's going on, these Democrats. Look what they're doing in Australia and Victoria. Yeah, we can do that.
We're better than...
Those Australians are getting away with this.
Yeah, hey, this is a knife, mate.
They're getting away with it. We can get away with it. We got less backbone than those Australians.
I love it. Hey, that's a good point. And now
and especially at the end this is the tail end of this event.
For us.
I mean, I don't care what Fauci says or anybody says. You can just tell by the hospital numbers and people working in the hospitals. The death rate has dropped way off.
Yes. And yet, the CDC, let me see if they actually use this headline. I got to check on this. The CDC, in another desperate attempt, says that people with COVID-19 are twice as likely to have eaten out at a restaurant before getting sick, which I don't think is proof of any causation. Isn't that just correlation? Yeah, they're doing everything. And they say the CDC is faking shit for Trump. You're making me laugh.
No, the CDC is releasing real numbers, and when you look at their graphs, you can see this thing is tailing off.
Yes.
But they still have to make these pronouncements.
Yeah, but that's bull crap. That's not a pronouncement. That's just like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's bull crap. It's total bull crap.
Now, what this results in, of course, is the next phase for us, and Australia will eventually get to that. Although Australia is kind of jumping ahead, they're not messing with any kind of Bluetooth tracker to trace your contacts. They're just slapping people with real ankle bracelets if they're caught outside their home for more than 10 minutes. Not kidding. Here's $1,000 fine. $1,000 fine to this poor woman.
Come on, Cuomo, keep up.
Yeah, really, Cuomo, you can do better than this.
Cuomo, you can do better. Get those ankle bracelets. There's money to be made.
Yes. Oh, man. Let me see. What else did I have here?
Luckily, in California could go in this direction, but we haven't, largely because Gavin Newsom really does want to run for president in 2024, 2028. Yeah. Probably 2028, I'm guessing, would be his best shot. And so he's just like beside himself. You can just see it. I mean, I've met this guy, and he is just a politician. He's built for it.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't go, oh, God, I can't do this, I can't do that.
When you met him, did he still smell like Kimberly?
I don't know what Kimberly smelled like, so I can't say for sure.
Oh, come on. We can guess from a distance.
I can't
I think she has real heavy cologne.
Well, he's the cologne type, but he's very aware of, he needs to get gray, because he's too sleazy looking with his dark black hair.
Yeah. How old is he?
He turns a little gray, and he's got the gravelly voice. He's very sincere. He's pretty good at it. But he's scared to death that he's going to make one false move. So he's not doing any of the Cuomo stuff.
I tell you, Joe Rogan is one very happy man. He texted me this morning. He's so happy he's left California. It's crazy what's happening there. Now, this tracking, tracing, and this is the time to move. It's the time to move, everybody. Get your tech out there. NFL is tracking its players on the field as well. Now, this is a poor recording, but I think we can at least hear it.
Down through the end zone for a touchback, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Al, from August 12th through September 5th, just over 64,000 COVID tests were administered to NFL players, and in that time period, there were 5 positive cases. Now, along with testing, everyone from the front office to the locker room is required to wear a Connexon proximity chip from the time they walk into the facility until they walk out again. Why don't you give us a summary?
I can't hear this.
Okay. Every single player has to wear this Connexon proximity chip. And this is happening in businesses everywhere. NFL is just another business. And it's a bracelet. It's a bracelet with a little holder. It's kind of like, like you'd have for a smartwatch if you could slide the watch out. So you slide the card out and then you can hand it off and get validated or whatever the hell it is. And
my God.
Yeah, and it measures up to 10 centimeters. So if you've been near someone who is...
So if you bump into somebody, for sure.
Well, they also know how long you've been around. Connection, Kinexon. It's the Connection.
Is it a publicly held company?
Ooh, let's find out. Connection.
Man, I'm in it.
Yeah,
I'm there.
Connexon.com. Let's find out. Is it publicly traded? I like how you think, Dvorak. Here, company. Let's see. About us.
The capitalist way.
Yes, we love this. About us. What do you guys do? I don't think they are. I think they may be private. Yeah, I don't see any. The team behind Connexon. Woo! These guys look scary.
These guys would be bought up in a
bunch of bros. Bunch of bros here. Oh my goodness. No, I think they're. Does it say investors? That's weird. No, I think they're private. So, sports clients. Here you go. Let's see who else they service. FC Bayern München, all of Red Bull. Okay, the New Jersey Devils, New York Knicks, Wings. Washington Wizards, the Philly 76ers. Okay. Anyway, so that's coming everywhere. That's coming to your. This is.
Oh my
the
God!
Lawyers
that
are
is
just.
disgusting.
The lawyers are just getting started. They're just getting started. This is such a beautiful bonanza for them. Oh yeah, it's going to be. Oh no, woo, scary, too scary. Can't have that. I finally heard back from our lab technician who has been trying to figure out why, or if there's something faulty with the test. The PCR test that get these high false positives. We've already talked about
our female lab technician.
Well, we don't identify by gender or color on the show.
Oh, okay. I'll just take that as a yes. Go on.
You are the worst. Really are. So our lab technician has gone through looking at. Is it possible that this actually goes back to the chromosome 8 story that everyone was saying, oh, look, it's looking for chromosome 8. It's the same that the PCR test is looking for. And that is a very gross misunderstanding of how the RT-Q PCR test works. And she's also annoying, according to our lab technician. However, there is one there's one anomaly that our technician is concerned about. And that is that the lab technician's primer, which you use to create these types of tests and to be able to spin up and to increase to see if there's any trace of it, is different from the ones used in the PCR test. And we're not quite sure who's making those and where the primer itself is coming from. So, which I guess relates directly back to what are we looking for. So that is something that's of concern. But our lab technician also wanted to report that remdesivir, the kitty cat antiviral, has been proven to be extremely ineffective. And our technician's lab has even stopped doing tests on it. It's that bad. I am reading verbatim. Honestly, not the least bit surprised. Subsequently, even though we have way more reported cases now than when we first had our quarantine order, they're still loosening up restrictions, at least in San Diego. We're opening up salons, eating indoors. We're still declining in cases. I find it suspicious this happened to directly correlate with the discovery of remdesivir not being effective. That's interesting. Why isn't anyone bitching about that like they have been with hydroxychloroquine? I haven't seen this in the news anywhere. Also, haven't heard much from Bill Gates on that note. Yeah, we got to find out, and there must be some studies that show it's completely ineffective. But I guess they already got their message out there, and they'll be able to prescribe it for the next 50 years as something that worked once, maybe.
Oh, yeah. As long as you get those prescriptions out and the government pays the bulk of it, and you just pay your contribution, whatever it's called.
Which is
copay.
Which
you
is,
pay your $10 copay, and the taxpayers pay the $999 the rest of it. Thank you very much. Very good. Good work.
Yes, exactly. So this all leads to, obviously, to building back better. That is, this thing is crazy. So building back better, just to reiterate, is the slogan for the Biden-Harris campaign ticket. And we're seeing this.
But it was derived.
Well, this is going to trip you out if you see how far back this goes. And now I'm just thinking, is this a slogan that we missed along the way? Or was it always there, ramping up in relation to climate change?
It would be great if we had caught it.
Yeah, I agree. Let me see. This is
we don't catch everything. That's not our job is not to catch everything. It's to deconstruct news.
No. Here is an article from the Clinton Foundation, published January 12th, 2011. And the William J. Clinton Presidential Center's temporary exhibit, Haiti. Now, remember, this is after the earthquake in Haiti, when they went in and grabbed all the children and built 3 houses. Haiti, building back better, celebrates the people and culture of Haiti as the nation recovers from the devastating earthquake 1 year ago today. So building back better seems to be something that comes when you have a natural disaster, which as we have been taught, always is related to climate change. I have here the Center for International Governance Innovation, and they will be holding a webinar symposium on September 3rd.
A webinar?
Yes. Well, everything's a webinar these days. Everything's a webinar these days.
Webinars.
The Building Back Better, defining the building blocks for a just global recovery from the pandemic. That sounds good. And if it couldn't get any crazier, let's go back to 2013. Let's see. From the Resilient Organizations.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sandika, and I'm a PhD student looking at the concept of building back better in post-disaster reconstruction and recovery.
So, and then my favorite, 2012, another climate change event. Can you recall what happened in 2012 climate change related?
Let me think. Is it one of those climate change events where they bitch and moan about global warming, but it was snowing outside?
No, this was Superstorm Sandy.
Oh, Superstorm Sandy.
Superstorm Sandy, which...
named after the squirrel in the SpongeBob cartoon.
Here is Governor Cuomo of New York.
As New Yorkers, we've gone through dark times before, and we know struggles and we know crisis, and we come back even stronger. We work together, we work as a team, we work coordinated, and the challenge here for us is not just to build back, but to build back better than before.
Climate change, build back better. It's just been here all this time. And it's really cool to see the mainstream media not touching it. And you've got to wonder, do they really just not see it? Are they not supposed to? Are they embarrassed?
No, I think you're wrong on all those accounts.
Okay.
Well, no, you're right on the one account. They just don't see it.
Right. Well, it's there clearly, and maybe if they do see it, then they just think, "Oh, I better not bring that up."
This is This is the old. Oh my God, we missed that all those years. Shh. That's maybe no one will notice.
Well,
don't say anything.
Just touching back on COVID for a moment, Joe Biden, of course, is using this perfectly timed moment with the Woodward book, with the crazy blanket media coverage without the clips, which some would say without evidence, that the president knew how dangerous it was, and he was just lying. He wasn't trying to keep people calm. He was just lying. He was lying. And obviously, Bo Jiden would have done this so much better. There was a fun exchange with T.J. Ducklow. T.J. Ducklow is the Biden's spokeshole, also known as press secretary. And I would really want to rag on the guy, but apparently he's got stage 4 lung cancer. And he looks really
terrible.
He looks really good for someone who is.
The guy was running my blog. And he was never a smoker, and he died a couple years
That's
later.
my mom. Yeah, the lung cancer shit.
So this guy's done.
Well, he doesn't look like it. He looks really chipper, and he's really pushing back. Although, of course,
I've seen this same thing.
Well, let's play it anyway for those who haven't.
Joe Biden said in February that Donald Trump should get people on the ground in China. What did Donald Trump do? Donald Trump was praising China. Donald Trump was praising President Xi's response, saying that they had it under control, when clearly he knew, as we now know from Bob Woodward, they did not have it under control.
Now, see, that's the lie.
That's just a lie.
It's a lie. From the Bob Woodward's book, not from the book, from the actual audio we heard, that he did not know that. He was talking to Xi, and Xi was telling him everything's under control.
This is the campaign that's relying on the nonsense about the good people, fine people on both sides, and 2 or 3 other. Oh, and the other one about not, confirming the Russian bounties on the the Russian bounties, the fine people on both. I mean, they were just, this whole campaign is based on a pack of lies.
He should have been protecting.
So why would this be any different?
Well, it's just fun to pull it apart.
American people, he should have been putting real plans in place.
So let me just clarify.
Actually confront this incredibly dangerous
threat. Let me just clarify. You're saying that Joe Biden was for closing down travel from China when the president did it?
Joe Biden has been clear, and I can send you the fact checks if they're helpful, Brett. Joe Biden has been clear.
It's so insulting. How insulting is that? And Brett Baer's I think he's an actual journalist. He's a writer.
Brett Baer's good. He could actually be on the networks. In fact, he's got the look of a. He's always had, to me. I'm sure he gets millions of dollars. Probably, I'm guessing 8 from Fox.
Possibly. That sounds like a good number.
It sounds like a reasonable, but he could get 12 at NBC, and he could easily take over CBS. Nora's no good.
Yeah.
He would be he's a good-looking guy for an news anchor. He seems honest, and he seems unbiased. I like him.
Yeah, I like him too. I was surprised. I saw him in some other setting the other day, and he wasn't behind a desk. Brett Baer's a big man. And I'm talking 300 pounds big. Oh, yeah. Brett Baer's a big guy. He's a bear guy, yeah. But it's kind of insulting to say, oh, well, no, I'll send you the fact check if you want. It's like, what is this fact check? I'll send you the fact check.
Fact check false?
Come on.
I can send you the fact checks if they're helpful.
Helpful.
Joe Biden has been clear that he was not against that travel ban.
But he was for it?
Joe Biden has been clear about this, Brett. This
is really a lesson in how not to answer the question, even though everyone knows you're full of crap. And still it gets away. This is just entertaining to me.
Send you the fact checks if they're helpful. This has been fact checked into oblivion.
Okay, I'm just asking you the question. You're saying yes, he was for the China travel ban when the president implemented it 48 hours after receiving that briefing.
The important thing about the travel ban,
yes or no?
But I know that you all like to cite the travel ban. I know the president
no. The president does. That's why I'm bringing it up. Obviously, it's going to be in the debate.
Brett, hold on. The important thing to know about the travel ban is that even after the president implemented that travel ban, says that he implemented it, tens of thousands of people came in and out of the country.
I'm going to take it that you're not going to answer that question. You're going to send me some fact checks.
What was Donald Trump doing, Brett? He was ignoring the virus.
Let's continue to fact check.
Praising China. Go ahead.
Well, Brett was dead wrong on one thing.
What did he say?
Did you catch it?
No, I missed it. What did I miss?
Oh, yeah. He says, that's going to be in the debates.
Oh. You mean because there's not going to be a debate, you mean?
There's not going to be a debate.
Well, I'm playing this out of order because I want to talk about something else, but that was the other thing that Brett Baer leaned into this poor stage 4 cancer survivor. Quite mean now when you think about it. Unless God, man, I hope the guy's cured. He didn't look sick at all. Is the whole issue of the teleprompter. So what happened on, I think it was an MSNBC or CNN interview, certainly would be one of those two. There was a question about something. Biden takes a picture, either from the ground, maybe it was there handily, whatever, and he holds it up for the camera, hence reflecting back not just the massive, beautiful box light that he has to make himself, to build Joe back better, but also the teleprompter with the questions and answers for that interview that he was doing. And
hold on a second. I know none of this.
Yes.
So Biden took it like a selfie, or
no. There was a question about family something, and he pulls a picture frame with glass in front of it, and he holds it up, and it reflected, and you could see. It was with. Maybe it was Fallon, I think. It was one of the late shows. I forget who it was with.
Well,
and so
it could have been Colbert would be likely, but
right. And for Colbert, having that for any of the late night talk shows, they're all scripted pretty much. I mean, the questions are known. That's why when the host asks a question and the guest says great question, it's because they knew the answer. They knew the question was coming, and they have the answer. So he holds up this frame, and it reflects back the script. So this obviously needs to be discussed with T.J. Ducklow.
Has Joe Biden ever used a teleprompter during local interviews or to answer Q&A with supporters?
Brett, we are not going to engage. This is straight from the Trump campaign.
But yeah, they're using it.
And what it does, Brett, is it's trying to distract the American people.
They're using it. They talk about it every day. Can you say yes or no?
That's because they talk about it every day, Brett, because they don't have a coherent
well, you have an answer. Yes or no.
Brett, they talk about it every day because they don't have a coherent argument for why Donald Trump deserves re-election, deserves 4 more years. We know that he lied to the American people. We know that he has not shown leadership during this crisis, and they are desperate to throw anything they can against the wall to try to distract from that fact.
I understand, but you can't answer the question.
Brett, I am not going to allow the Trump campaign to funnel their questions through Fox News and get me to respond to that.
The thing that's disgusting about that is he says that, and Brett Baer, okay, great guy, go, it's like this big joke. It's like this big insulting joke to everybody. Well, we know you don't want to say it because it's true, and I'm just going to laugh at you. What is that now? What is that? I don't think that's acceptable anymore. It
goes back a ways, and I think that even Mike Wallace would pull stuff like that and do the laugh.
It's so insider. It's so phony. It's so lame. Of course,
I don't know how else you do it. What would you recommend they do?
Brett Baer should say, "Listen, you cocksucker." That would be funny. Sorry. We can always cut that out.
Yeah, we won't cut it out.
Or not. So I watched 2 things this weekend. The Keeper and the Millennial are out. They're on a trip together. Go to find some more Rona. And another hot spot. And so there's 2 things I watched. And I'd almost done this before, but all this fracas about this movie, Cuties on Netflix.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Well, of course, this is the No Agenda show, so I took the grenade, pulled the pin, and jumped on the Cuties movie to see what it was all about. Because all I hear, I mean, what did you hear? Just for your impression, what is your idea?
It's pedophilia incarnate. That's what I heard.
Okay.
I mean, is it as bad as tiaras? What was that? Tiaras and...
Toddlers and tiaras?
Toddlers and tiaras, right. Toddlers and tiaras. If you ever got to watch that even once, you had to take a shower afterwards.
Yeah, that's what Chrissy Teigen was tweeting about years and years ago that she had to delete because she was saying all this stuff like, oh, I just love a 7-year-old doing a split. Yeah, so that's a whole nother creep show. Actually, this is a very boring movie, and it's in French. Just to make it that much worse, it's a French piece of crap movie about a Somalian immigrant.
Wait a minute. You sure you watched the right movie?
Oh, John, I had to check 3 times in the first 45 minutes to make sure I was watching the right thing.
So wait a minute. So in other words, this is just a sucker's gambit?
No. Let me explain what this is. And anyone who says, "Oh, it's an outrage, I'm canceling Netflix," and you ask them, "What'd you think of the movie?" And if they don't say it was a boring piece of crap and in French, then they didn't watch it. This is what I like so much about this story, because everyone's up in arms that they didn't even watch it. This is a typical piece of crap art film with a message. And sadly, the actual message is completely missed by everyone who should catch it. So what this, I don't even know who the director is. The director shows very clearly that these young immigrant girls, we're talking 12, and it centers on one, because of social media and Instagram and face filters and social media likes and comments, she gets incredibly depressed about her. This is early in the movie. Incredibly depressed about her appearance. You know, she makes herself look good with one of those Insta filters, and then one girl says, as a response, "Okay, but could you make your ears any bigger?" And the girl goes into a tailspin, covering her ears, puts on hats during the day. And this is real. This is a real thing. And so that was extremely good. And then I think this is probably in a very done in a sick way, but we might not be talking about it if the director hadn't done it, is then takes it to the extreme where these girls are replicating, essentially, I'll just say Beyonce, the dance groups, even Cardi B to a degree. And it's very disturbing to watch, extremely disturbing to watch, and it goes on far too long. It's much more at the end of the movie. But I believe the idea was to say, hey, this is really horrible what's happening. And instead, most people who are just mindless, headline reading, clickbait drones, I'm looking at you, I know many of you did this, who did not bother to do any further research, go into this immediate rage of cancel Netflix, pedophile. Yeah, sure. But the whole message is this is what our media has become. I still would not recommend watching the movie. You don't need to watch this movie to get this idea. But that's what this is about.
I would say if you really want to get this idea, go watch the TikTok account of Kellyanne Conway's daughter.
So, this leads me to the second thing I watched, which I emailed you about, and I said, I think you should watch this because I'd like to discuss it on the show. And just from looking at the credits, and I think there's one person in particular, I'm not quite sure, I think it's a personal issue. The woman who wrote Surveillance Capitalism, you hate her. I don't know why, but you have.
No, I don't hate her. I just think
you despise her.
I'll
tell you why I say this, because a year ago when her book came out, I was ready to pull some clips, and you went. I had the clips. You went off. This woman, the bullshit artist, and I'm like, I'm not going to discuss her book at all with you. That's how you hate her. I don't know why, but it's okay. And
you have the right word in your previous comment right there. You have the reason. I don't hate her, but she's a bullshit artist.
Yes,
you said it yourself,
right? But that doesn't mean that what the Social Dilemma movie on Netflix is about is invalid. And I just wanted to give you my thinking of it. And actually, I want to play the trailer, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. And I'd love to. And it was rather interesting because when I emailed you, you looked at the list of people, said, this looks like, I don't think I can get through this. Maybe we should just rag on it. I was like, no, you should watch it. And now today I see you have a whole bunch of clips. I'm sure you have something to mock it with, but...
What?
Yes,
what
I know
you. Accusing me of?
I know you. This is the trailer for The Social Dilemma now playing on Netflix.
When you go to Google and type in climate change is, you're going to see different results depending on where you live and the particular things that Google knows about your interests.
That's not by accident. That's a design technique. What I want people to know is that everything they're doing online is being watched, is being tracked. Every single action you take is carefully monitored and recorded.
A lot of people think Google's just a search box and Facebook's just a place to see what my friends are doing. What they don't realize is there's entire teams of engineers whose job is to use your psychology against you. I was the co-inventor of the Facebook like button.
I was the president of Pinterest,
Google, Twitter, Instagram.
There were meaningful changes happening around the world because of these platforms. I think we were naive about the flip side of that coin.
We get rewarded by hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value, and we conflate it with truth.
A whole generation is more anxious, more depressed.
I always felt like fundamentally it was a force for good. I don't know if I feel that way anymore.
Facebook discovered that they were able to affect real-world behavior and emotions without ever triggering the user's awareness. They are completely clueless.
Fake news spreads 6 times faster than true news. We're being bombarded with rumors.
If everyone's entitled to their own facts, there's really no need for people to come together. In fact, there's really no need for people to interact.
We have less control over who we are and what we really believe.
If you want to control the population of your country, there has never been a tool as effective as Facebook.
We built these things and we have a responsibility to change it. The intention could be, how do we make the world better? If technology creates mass chaos, loneliness, more polarization, more election hacking, more inability to focus on the real issues, we're toast.
This is checkmate on humanity.
All right. So the overarching now the reason I like the social dilemma is because this embodies pretty much everything I've said about OTG and being off the grid. It's not so much about the government being able to track you, but what is happening to you with notifications and nudges and all kinds of different things that the social networks do with their algorithms. And it's also Google to a degree with their search, but it's really the social networks. And so they bring together a number of, I think you call them mid-level douchebags from these companies, and they're saying, hey, we built something that is actually quite bad. And we all know how most of this works and how most of the algos run things, but they took it to a level that I liked because they put in some acting, and regular people will see this. You know, I'm a hit picker. I see this like, if regular people who don't know shit about the internet, doesn't know how it works, doesn't know how algos are triggering things, they see this, I think they'll start to think about the prison that they're actually in. And that's all that I've ever said, and that's why I really like this. What I hadn't considered is 2 things. That advertising, which is what is their business model based upon, you know, the stuff that they collect and know about you, can actually be very, all persuasion, whether it's for politics or whether it's to buy soap powder, is based on a form of advertising. Except they do things that even I kind of forgot. It's like they will pull certain things into your feed at the right time based upon their knowledge of you. So it's not like I'm getting shadow banned. No, the algorithm has a different plan for you. And that plan is typically to wrap you up into something that keeps you clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking. But the impression was given by this film that the people who made it have no way out. The only way to stop the polarization of people, and this is why I think you have your red, blue, white, black, up, down, Republican, Democrat, fear, freedom, is people get into a bias and a sphere of their own biases that keeps getting corrected or reinforced, and they will believe it. And so when things like, that's on its face seems so wrong to one group can be totally believed by the other, is their definition of magic. And that meme magic or magic, just like magic tricks, can put you in a state of belief of something that you are really convinced of. And that really they can't stop it because the only way to stop it is to kill their business. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was a piece of shit.
Do you think that it will work to alert people to the dangers of how they are being manipulated by?
Well, there's a couple of things you should know about the movie. First of all, it was produced by a global warmist operation of millennials.
Oh, okay.
And it's called Exposure Labs. And and they are, if you look at their website, they're a film and impact production company.
Oh, I'm sure.
And until they did this, and it starts off the first page, of course, is we stand in solidarity with black and all BIPOC communities in the fight for racial justice.
Wait a minute. What is that? BIPOC is... It means
it's people of color, but maybe
add something. No, I should know this.
Sexual people of color? I don't know.
No. It's something else.
Well, you can look that up.
It's black indigenous.
Except for one old woman who happens to be the one that that's the chief operating officer. They're all kids. And everything they've done before now has been about, for example, their previous movies. One was on the corals going, the coral reefs, which we found. We had a guy from Australia come on and who never gets on any air and says it's all bullshit about the coral. And then they did what's called chasing coral. They did chasing ice.
BIPOC is indigenous. I just had it. I just wanted to make sure you had it. It's black, indigenous, and people of color. I guess black has now been moved out of the people of color.
Interesting.
They've been downgraded or upgraded. I don't know.
Or downgraded. You don't know. Nobody knows. The latest thing they've done is Earth Day 2020 case study.
Fine. Okay. Let's talk about this movie. Let's talk about this movie.
Okay, so this movie is a lot of obviosities, is the way I call when they're pointing out the obvious. For example, I'm going to start with my punchline clip, which I don't like to do, but I'm going to do it anyway so we can get into the right mood. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'll do the punchline clip last. No, I'll do the punchline clip first. This is the big breakthrough we're going to hear from one of these douchebags that you call him, the douchebag middle manager who's bitching.
No, I was using your words from our email exchange.
I know, but you said it. But this guy, here's the guy. He's gonna give us the insider stuff, the goals of tech companies. Let's play this.
At a lot of these technology companies, there's three main goals. There's the engagement goal to drive up your usage to keep you scrolling. There's the growth goal to keep you coming back and inviting as many friends and getting them to invite more friends. And then there's the advertising goal to make sure that as all that's happening, we're making as much money as possible from advertising.
Are you freaking kidding me? What the was that?
Okay.
That's the way I felt about that great insight to what tech companies do. So every one of these is like that. And this is the whole movie. It's telling us the obvious. And tech companies try to make money. I don't know what to think of such a thing. These are a bunch of socialist kids doing this movie. So let's play. Here's a good one. This is their little insight on how Facebook actually creates genocide.
The cell phone shop owner will actually preload Facebook on there for them and open an account.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. This one.
Facebook really gave the military and other bad actors a new way to manipulate public opinion and to help incite violence against the Rohingya Muslims. That included mass killings, burning of entire villages, mass rape, and other serious crimes against humanity that have now led to 700,000 Rohingya Muslims having to flee the country.
Now, Are you saying that didn't have that Facebook did not play a role in the violence in Myanmar?
This is a situation that goes back decades, if not hundreds of years. And Facebook, the role they played was so ridiculously minor. They may have fanned the flames. I'm not saying, but the way they put it is as though they caused it. If it wasn't for Facebook, this wouldn't have happened, is the assertion. I don't buy that for a minute. Let's play this one. This is another one that's kind of funny. This is their preloaded assertion clip. That's another obviosity put to film.
The cell phone shop owner will actually preload Facebook on there for them and open an account for them. And so when people get their phone, the first thing they open and the only thing they know how to open is Facebook.
Okay, what is
that? I'm sorry, this is the wrong. I was thinking of a different clip. This is the woman.
Hold on. I want to understand. You're moving through it really fast. And you're just saying it's bullshit.
Get rid of it.
Okay, but all right.
Okay, now this is an assertion that comes in out of the blue in the movie, and this really bugs me. She makes the assertion that when you buy a phone from a phone store, they load Facebook on and set you up with an account, and when you get your phone, it's the only thing you know how to use.
Yes, and I think she was talking in the film specifically about Africa, and maybe also about Myanmar, and yeah. That you don't get a browser, you get Facebook. That Zuckerberg, the Facebook is sponsoring all these phones. They're paying for these phones and subsidizing them so that Facebook is indeed the default internet that opens for you. Yes, and yes, these people are stupid because they've never had it before, so they don't know what's going on. And you ask any kid today, "What's Facebook?" in America, they'll say, "Well, what's the internet? What's internet? Instagram." They don't. It's just as bad. But that's really happening.
I see this as hysterics. All right, here's one. This is the manipulated election clip.
If I want to manipulate an election, I can now go into a conspiracy theory group on Facebook, and I can find 100 people who believe that the Earth is completely flat and think it's all this conspiracy theory that we landed on the moon. And I can tell Facebook, give me 1,000 users who look like that. Facebook will happily send me thousands of users that look like them that I can now hit with more conspiracy.
Okay, so
that's how you manipulate an election. That's just that simple.
I think you're just pulling a 23-second quote out of a larger context. It didn't just end there. Did you really see them? Did you really see this movie?
I'm telling you, I watched it. I saw Jared Lanier, and when I saw him, by the way, is where I had to stop watching. I'm just telling you, this movie, it seems to me that the people behind this movie are the big publishers. So I don't know how they got their hooks into this thing, but it seems to me that this is just, let's bitch about the fact that Facebook is a fantastic mechanism for advertising. It's a fantastic mechanism for advertising. There's been nothing like it.
And would you agree with me?
I don't think it's there for evil purposes. I think it's there to sell ads to anyone who wants to buy them. And if you want to use it for evil purposes, you can do that in a newspaper too. You can easily buy ads in a newspaper that you can use for evil purposes, but they won't be as effective as they are on Facebook because you can really target. This has been the holy grail of people who want to advertise forever, and they finally achieved it. And now everybody's bitching and moaning about it or going nuts and making all kinds of crazy, this whole movie is just a bunch of hysterical nonsense done by social justice warriors.
Well, and
that's the way I see it. You wanted my opinion.
Thank you. And I'm very happy that you see that, because it is indeed fire with fire, and the social justice warriors need to be fought by social justice warriors. So people who are actually mind controlled by this stuff may think twice about advertising. And yeah, it's just advertising. Political ads where you see, let me give you an example. White cops killed this black man while he was getting into the car on President Trump's watch. Just advertising. Couldn't at all create any social unrest. Just advertising.
How's that different than being on television?
Let me finish my point. Because you can target it. Because it is that level of targeting. That's exactly the point. Advertising is not just buy this soap. Advertising is ideas. Advertising is pushing you into... When we talk about this show, we're advertising a whole concept that says the mainstream media is bullshit.
Advertising thing. You can target advertising on television nowadays with 500 channels.
Yes, that's the point. You can be targeted on Facebook, go home, and your Roku or your Spectrum box serves you the same ad because it's all connected. Yes, that's the point. The point is, I'm going back to the first movie I watched where this stuff is destroying young girls. You didn't mention in the social dilemma about the suicide rate that has increased dramatically since the iPhone was launched. We know where it's coming from. It's just, my point is, it's not a groundbreaking film for information it gives. I believe it will get people to think about what is actually happening with your social media and your influence on your life. You don't know what that is.
That bug me.
You don't know what that is because you have never lived the social media addiction ever on a phone. You haven't.
I've chose not to.
Yes. I have been totally addicted to news feeds. I see it around me all the time. It's very, very, very bad for people's health.
I don't think it's that much worse than watching TV 8 hours a day, which used to happen before the social media showed up. Teen girls have always had issues. Yes, the suicide rate has gone up, but there's a lot of different reasons for that. The suicide rate in the United States still isn't as high as it is in most of the countries in Eastern Europe, where they're not that much influenced by a thing like Facebook. Kazakhstan, for example, has got a
he said
much
without
higher suicide
evidence.
rate.
He said without evidence. I don't know that that's true. Okay.
I don't know that it's not true. But why wouldn't it be pretty similar from place to place when you have, in the Eastern European areas, it seems to be higher. Why isn't it in Western Europe? They for a fact they use it there.
Okay.
Is it used more?
So when I do,
this doesn't make any sense.
When I do an OTG segment, do you generally agree with what I'm saying? Do you generally agree with my concept of data?
I'm an OTG kind of guy.
Are you generally in agreement with?
But we're not talking about your OTG segment. We're talking about this movie.
And my question is to you: do you think it is good for people to see this and they will question things and perhaps get a clue that they're not engaged in healthy behavior?
I think this movie's got propaganda in it that I don't like.
And that specifically is? Because I want to be on the lookout for that.
Well, let's say the Jaron Lanier nonsense, which is that there is a subtle argument within this, is that, and Jaron Lanier is the one who brought this up, and they ran with it in various ways, with the phony baloney acting where the algorithms are actually three guys sitting behind a console and one of them pushing buttons saying, hey, look at the amount of time he spent on this. Let's push this button and get him to do that. And let's get him to do this.
You think that the algorithms don't do versions of that?
The algorithms are mediocre. These algorithms are all derived from if you like this movie, then you'll like that movie, which came out in the 1980s on various websites. And the 1980s had no websites.
All right. Now then I understand our core fundamental difference. And the core fundamental difference is, I believe the algorithms are that simplistic, but that they have been so built out that there is no other way to keep the business running, and they are indeed doing versions of, oh, the guy liked this, let's get him that. This, not that, this. Oh, he clicked on this. Oh, he seems to be more engaged.
My experience. I'm on YouTube. I like to put the family, let's watch Russian dash cam videos. One of my favorite things to watch. So we put on one of them, the latest compilation of Russian dash cam car accident videos. And you see these drunken Russians flying all over the place. The next video that comes up is another one.
Yeah, okay.
Holy mackerel, these algorithms are knocking my socks off. I might watch another one of these videos.
I really think you're embarrassing yourself by not thinking a little bit further that it's not take an example that's a little more realistic of what the film is about, which is Donald Trump is a lying dick. So if you're being targeted because for whatever reason, your zip code or a video you liked, I'll give you your recommendation engine example. We think that you are someone we can bring over to the Democrat side, or doesn't matter which side, by just pushing more of those ads. Ads are just ads. Ads are stories. Ads are videos. Ads are posts. Ads are other users that's paid for. You don't think that can make a difference?
This is nothing new. That's the point.
It's not new, but it's hyper fast. It's hyper interactive with you, not just the passive TV viewer. That's my point.
It's faster. I agree with that. But fast is as fast does. It can go fastly. You all of a sudden become a Democrat. Fast, you can all of a sudden become a Republican. So you get jerked around a lot more. That's the difference. You get jerked around a lot more, and it's a lot faster. It's no different than the subtle, slow ways they used to do it, or the television ads, or the special interest publishing.
The YouTube algos are so good that you, in the past couple of weeks, have shown up with clips that we've played before because they just throw them back in your face again. I'm seeing again, we're getting the same, the algos are cranking up, they throw it around, people say,
I don't get my clips from YouTube.
The Marianne Williamson clip?
That came off of Twitter.
There's no algo there, luckily.
It's on my feed.
I believe this is a very good movie to show to people, to make them think about, just as a start, not using any social media. And if you're a parent, I suggest you watch this so you can monitor what's happening to your kids.
And I think it's childish and inane, and it just doesn't. I don't think it's effective. I disagree, but you liked it. I didn't like it. You liked it for a lot of reasons I disliked it for a lot of different reasons.
The Jared Lanier thing that I know because you put it in the email exchange, instead of advertising, it shows you how polar opposite we are on this. I liked the quote and I wrote it down. It is a gradual, slight, imperceptible change in your own behavior and perception that is the product. Based upon if you're not paying for it, you are the product. That was his derivative extrapolation of what is going on.
Yeah, that's what Jaron does best.
And I agree with that statement.
Jaron.
I agree with that statement because that's what advertising and marketing does. Whether it's the suffragettes, smoking cigarettes, whether it's Bernays, mind control tricks, that's marketing, that's advertising. And so he just gave it a Jared Lanier spin, which is kind of the opposite of it's just advertising. So somewhere in the middle, there's something going on with our behavior.
And that's exactly the way I said it.
Pretty much. Oh, well. That's all I got to say. Yeah, onward.
I'm surprised you didn't have more clips than just a crummy trailer.
I was going to play clips, and then I saw you had clips, which I was
You knew what my clips were going to be like.
No, I didn't. And I had a hunch, but you had wow behind one, which was, as you call it, the punchline clip. As you know, I don't listen to your clips. And I thought, maybe he did think of something that he liked. But no, of course not.
Wow, you're the optimist.
Instead, you spent half an hour where you could have spent thinking about the movie on create an explosion and cartoon sounds to mock the movie, which is valid. It's valid. That
did not take that long to produce.
Oh, brother. And with that,
here's another guy. Let's take a break. I got a good clip.
I was going to thank you for your courage.
This is a guy who teaches courses and broadcasting and other things. He does a show called London Real.
Yes, I've seen it.
He shows them. They got the big boom. They got the jib, and he's coming out of a mansion. He's coming out of a giant castle. He's got Lamborghinis all around. I'm thinking he's going to be selling real estate, but no.
Yeah.
He's got this to say.
Hi, I'm Brian Rose, the founder and host of London Real and the creator of the Broadcast Yourself Workshop. Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever fantasized about being on a podcast?
What is he selling? What is he selling? I thought
he sells courses, short courses on how you get rich You can get rich by being a podcaster.
Well, hold on a second. This is true. Let's go to the videotape with Jim Cramer.
Among the upgrades today, and there are several, you got 2 for Spotify, one out of Telsey, the other out of Credit Suisse, as they go to outperform. Credit Suisse ups their target by $100.
Yeah, I mean, Spotify is very controversial stuff because you either believe in podcasts and think that it's the greatest thing going, because the actual business Spotify, many of us have it, we share it, we love it, but it is a huge exclusive podcasts that make it so that the stock has legs. I like the call. I've liked the stock since it came public using that direct listing, and the company's got some very, very smart people. This Joe Rogan podcast, they think, is going to be really, really big over Credit Suisse. He has a lot of followers. Whenever you hear anybody who says, hey, you know what, you could be the next Joe Rogan, well, let's see how Joe Rogan does, but I just know, Carl, that podcasts are far more popular than those of us who are, say, in general media realize, unless you're in a car or you go somewhere. So I like the Spotify call. I think it has a lot of energy to it, going international, a lot of AI to it. It's got that Netflix feel, and it's rolling.
Yeah, the podcast debate is pretty fraught right now, given some of the uncertainties about the long-term payoff. But between that and the marketplace offering, there's quite a bit of enthusiasm around Spot.
And we should consider getting into that business.
Huh. Well, get that Lamborghini. That's what I'm looking for.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage to say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in his cinematographic knowledge, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. In the morning, fish at sea, food in the air, and bugs in the water, and all the dames and nights out there.
In the morning to our trolls in the troll room at noagendastream.com. Hands up, trolls. Let's count you. 1628. Is that good for, is that where we're supposed to know? It's low, isn't it? We're low again.
Yeah, Sunday we were hitting 1,800.
We were hitting 18.
At the height of COVID.
Yeah. I guess Joe Rogan's just not delivering like he used to for us.
Yeah.
Trolls, it's very good to see y'all there at noagendastream.com, where you can troll around in our troll room 24/7 as you're listening to live shows and simultaneously listening to any other show that plays on noagendastream.com. And when you're in there, definitely try and hit up Doug for an invite to noagendasocial.com, or you can ask anyone except me on Twitter, do you have an invite? Anybody who has an account can create an invite. Go to your preferences and click on invite and create one.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, you can create an invite too.
Oh.
Yeah, you can make it for a set number of people, or you can do it in infinite number of people, or you go into the troll room and do !NA social. It'll spit it right back to you, and that's our federated network. In fact, kids. All you have to do is go to masto.host. For $5 a month, you too can have your own Mastodon server, complete, good to go, managed, don't have to worry about backups and all that stuff, and you can federate throughout the entire universe, or keep it private for you and your buddies. No algos. It's safe. Come on over. And I would then also like to thank the artist who brought us the artwork for episode 1276. The title of that show was Standard Man, which a lot of people like that whole segment about the Standard Man.
Standard Man.
Red, R-E-D-D.
It was actually one of the more educational segments we've ever done.
And it was on the fly, completely spontaneous. No.
There we go again, reading from Wikipedia.
I know, right? So this was
this is the way to do it.
This was from Red, R-E-D-D, and this was a very nice piece. Joe for Steelworkers, which of course was spelled S-T-E-A-L, workers, and it had the American flag and the Ukrainian flag, and even the font, even the actual letters, no agenda, was all custom.
He used some very strange font. I tried to look it up in a font finder. It was it's very hard to come by this font. And
really?
And you can identify certain things about fonts by the lowercase g, for example.
The kerning looks kind of weird. Between the A,
I don't know.
If you look at the A's, the A, but the space between the G and the D.
Yeah, you could fix that manually. That he didn't have time for that.
No, or she.
Or she.
We don't know.
Could be a redhead.
This was okay. It was a nice piece. There were a couple other things that we were looking at.
It had the Ukrainian flag. I thought that was funny.
That was funny, yeah.
And also the Joe, the color of the E in Joe is Ukrainian flag color with the Ukrainian flag background.
Yeah.
So there was an element of that. Also, the amygdala management I thought was creative. It was a winner.
There were some other nice pieces. Mike Riley did the Local 10 Plagiarist Union. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a nice piece. Then
we also have an evergreen that came up from, again, Joshua Pettigrew, who doesn't listen to the show live anymore. He's the one who does some very fantastic work. And this piece is it's the general with all the badges.
Oh yeah, with all the
That's a nice
military industrial complex ribbons and badges. Yeah, no, it's good stuff. And also thanks to Fletcher, he did some nice artwork for this morning's for the pre-stream for the stream announcement.
Again, I haven't written up guidelines, but I will mention something else we shouldn't be doing. We're not going to run any artwork that's got Peta Bear on it. Just not going to happen.
We did it
It'll get
once.
Flagged. It will get banned. It's not good.
Yeah, we did it once. That's kind of it, I guess.
And there is a good Peta Bear one that's coming up, but we're not going to run it.
No.
And it's from Patrick. It's got the California flag instead of the California bear, it's a Peta Bear. I think it's a great piece.
Yeah. But no.
No, not going to happen.
But no, not going to.
Sorry.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we laugh at loudly, and we're like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And you know why. I did get some feedback from on noagendasocial.com. The artists actually do like the critique. You were so right.
At least one of the artists said it was.
I think it
showed that we care.
Yeah, well, we care very much. This is such
as opposed to apparently feedback, even though if it's negative, which is what most artists end up getting, because you're not getting. If it's good feedback, they use the piece. Here's your credit. But if it's bad feedback, he says that's better than the silent treatment, which is not what artists want because they need guidance.
Abuse is caring.
Abuse is caring. There you go.
That's some new speak for you.
So that's our abuse for the day is don't use Peta Bear.
Right. It's
if you want to get your piece used. I mean, you want to get just a cheap laugh from us after the show.
You can always. Yeah, we like that. We like that.
But it's an audience of two at that point.
So this is part of our value for value network. Our whole system is value for value. Just think about the conversation we had a few minutes ago. A passionate conversation where we can go at it. We didn't have to break for an ad.
We'd have a great movie review show if we could find only movies that we always disagreed on. Don't you think that? But no one's done that.
That's a good idea. It's like Siskel and Ebert only real. We can do that. I mean, I don't think we've ever agreed on a viewing tip, or rarely.
There's a couple.
Rarely.
There's been at least two.
Yeah, but can you name one of the two?
No.
Okay.
But I do remember there was one you recommended. Well, okay. You recommend that lion show, the lion taming show. You thought it was going to be a big hit. I saw it. I thought I couldn't keep watching it, but I thought you were right about that.
I called it.
There was some other something else that I recommended a couple of things you may have liked.
Yes, like Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer, my favorite movie.
Yeah, Snowpiercer really didn't keep up with the times. It's hard to get through Snowpiercer. It's so slow.
Well, the worst part is that they came up with it. You think that was slow? You should watch the TV show. The TV show is unwatchable.
What was that lion show? Joe, come on. With the lady who fed her husband to the lions.
Yeah, Lion Tamer.
No, it's not Lion Tamer. It's something else.
Something like that.
Bull crap. Anyway, none of this would be possible if we were running commercials. Certainly not if we have a corporate interest. Can you just imagine how many corporate interests we might offend and therefore lose advertising? Tiger King, Carol Baskins. There you go. Tiger. Joe Exotic. I got it. Fine. Thank you, trolls. So that doesn't work that way. But in order to bring you this, I think, very valuable content, we need something in return. Art helps, clips, information, background, expertise, and certainly finances, because this is all we do. And I love my job. I love sitting down all weekend watching crap so you don't have to. So I can inform myself mainly. and my co-host. You should watch Cuties. You should watch Cuties. We should do another review of Cuties. Oh, God.
I think we've done enough reviews for the month. Okay. Let's do one review a month.
Let's thank all of our executive producers and associate executive producers.
Well, our top executive producer, some guy in Arizona.
Some guy.
Who's going to be knighted.
Some guy.
And I thought it was cute. His knight name's going to be Sir Rancelot.
I like that.
I'm surprised no one's come up with that one before.
That's a good one.
He wrote a long handwritten note, which I will read. In the morning, John and Adam, my greetings from Gitmo Nation. I've been listening since Khashoggi and haven't donated until today, so please de-douche me.
You got it.
You've been de-douched.
Super duper.
The insight that No Agenda provides me into the main machinations of our technocratic overlords by deconstructing the messaging campaigns of their mass media cronies is truly invaluable, so it's time I gave up some value in return. Enclosed, please find some. Oh, and he sent in some Utah goldbacks.
Oh, these are cool. The goldbacks, they actually have gold flake right in the money, right?
On the back.
Yeah.
He sent 4, 2 for you and 2 for me.
And I gave him my PO box too. I think I gave him my PO box.
Well, then did he send you some?
No, he sent them to you, which means I'll never get them.
I'll get them. These I'll get to you because they slip into an envelope easily.
Okay.
But they're cool. They're like plastic.
No, I've seen them. They look pretty. They look pretty.
In gold ink, and then the back of them is a very thin layer of gold.
Yeah.
Did you read the
backstory? Did you read the backstory about those? There's a whole story about it.
On the bill themselves, they say they're actually legal tender in Utah, which I find hard to believe.
No, that's the backstory. It's very cool.
Huh. Anyway.
Yeah, it's appreciated.
Anyway, he says it's just a form of gold coinage that can fit right into an ordinary wallet. It's actually quite unique. One goldback trades at the spot price of gold plus the production premium of the company minting process, a value which is kept up to date at the website. Okay. It's called goldback.com. Shout out to Chris over at the podcast Freedom Decrypted for bringing these up on the show right as the federal, this is handwritten by the way, as the Federal Reserve was ramping up its colossal spam to all new heights. I'll be glad to have, which is we talked about on our show.
Yep.
I'll be glad to have a handful of these. Well, good luck with these once we're all papering our walls with the U.S. dollar. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not a financial advice. Anyway, for jingles, can I get a Cuomo? Okay, this luckily there's more text after this, but I'll give you these.
Yeah.
Forget government. Cuomo, forget government. I don't know. It's an ISO from when he was trying to deflect blame and his fiasco surrounding all the nursing home deaths.
Got it.
Okay. Followed by Anarchy Goat Karma. And it's on Phone Boy's ringtone page.
Oh, yeah. Let me just go grab that. No, that's not how it works. I can't do that now.
Just give him some goat karma.
Yeah.
Finally, if it pleases the Peerage Committee, I'd like to be pronounced Sir Rancelot, Knight of the Vitriolic. Okay, this is an addition. They should put it on there. Knight of the Vitriolic Diatribes.
Okay.
All I require at the round table are negative rights and a positive rate of time preference.
Okay, give me Sir Rancelot of...
Sir Rancelot, Knight of the Vitriolic Diatribes.
Knight of the Vitriolic Diatribes. Okay, and then it sounded like some Max Kaiser shit he wanted at the round table. Yes, what was it?
Negative rights and a positive rate of time preference. I don't know what either of those mean.
Positive rate of time preference. It's time over money, my friend.
So this is our guy. This is why he's into gold so much.
Well, also Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Gotcha. Bitcoin. Yeah, I think
Fortunately, Adam won't have to order ahead for these, as every human being is already endowed with these from birth.
I think I personally got the Bitcoin price, which was stuck at 10,000. I think my Joe Rogan appearance pumped it up a couple $100.
Thank you for your courage, love, and light. Stay safe. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Amen.
Forget government.
You've got karma.
Thank you. See, at the round table is the only one today, actually. The only one. Yeah, the only one.
Somebody came in. Yeah. Anonymous came in with $333. Short comment for the show. It says, first donation to hold up my end of the VFV model. Value for value. I would appreciate some karma as I'm trying to buy my late grandmother's house, but it's stuck in land court, and the estate's lawyer is incompetent. Thank you for your courage.
Oh, that can take a long time. That sucks. Yes, of course, we're going to give you some of that karma for you.
You've got karma.
Shouldn't be too hard. Grandma's house.
Grandma. Jimmy Brown in Southfield, Michigan comes in with $333.33 also. Jingles, Fear is Freedom, Protect Your Freedom, British, Shape-Shifting Jews, Goat Karma. I turned 33 on September 15th. Another one. I'm an essential worker who actually makes more money this year than any other because people are too scared to leave their houses to get anything. So I went over to Whole Foods. I finally got in.
Okay.
This is the first time I've been to Whole Foods for 6 months. So I go in there, and, I got in because there's no line in front, but the line to get out is unbelievable. But the place is crawling. It's like 90% of the people in there shopping were shopping for somebody else. They had these foil-lined bags, and they're going from these buyers, the guys who do the deliveries.
Sure. Oh, yeah, they're all over the place. They got their own checkout, everything.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, I'm an essential worker who's actually made more money. Volume has been so high, it's been like Christmas this year. I usually have 130 to 150 stops. I've had multiple 295 stop days. I guess is where you go around and drop stuff off. So I guess that's my Zephyr report. I try my hardest not to wear a mask. To not wear a mask, it's going too far. My response anytime I'm asked while delivering their essential goods, usually beds, dining room tables. Oh, he's a big guy. Mm-hmm. He does the lumping. And all the heavy things which don't seem that essential is I'm social distancing. I thought it was either or, which is generally true. And you should read your local health department orders.
Yes.
It's not that hard to come by. You go to the health department website, you look up the orders, and you read them, and you'll find out what you have to do. And they will tell you specifically not to wear a mask in the car. You don't have to wear a mask with family. Media people are exempt, but you need to wear a mask. It's just, it's all in there. Anyway, he says, I've also tried the with Jesus response to say stay safe, which is a good one.
Thank you, Dame Jennifer, for your fantastic animated No Agenda. They all crack me up.
Which my girlfriend finds hilarious. I'm so happy I've had no agenda to keep my amygdala in check, and I started listening from John's appearance on Twit. It was jarring at first with all the shut up slave remarks being a black millennial, but after 2 or 3 episodes, I was hooked. Thanks for the sanity.
Oh, man. Congratulations on getting through the triggering. It's a kind of initiation. Holy crap. All right, Jimmy Brown.
For some reason, it's not as rough as it used to be.
No, back in the day, we had Shut Up Slave t-shirts with a barcode, and it was funny. And trust me, I ain't wearing that one anymore. That's where I draw the line on pushing social. They're kind of long, these jingles, but they're so good, and we haven't heard them all, so I think we should do that for sure. Thank you, Jimmy Brown. Here they come. The pigs are marching.
Fear is freedom. Subjugation is liberation. Contradiction is truth. Those are the facts of this world. And you will all surrender to them. You pigs in human clothing!
Intelligence work takes place within a strong legal framework. We operate under the rule of law and are accountable for it. In some countries, secret intelligence is used to control their people. In ours, it only exists to protect their freedoms. Protect their freedoms. Protect their freedoms. Protect their freedoms.
You've got karma.
Matt Whiffin's up next from Melbourne. Hey, Melbourne, how you doing? Locked down 333.33. Well, maybe he's the reason to the lockdown, because he's a massive douchebag, he says, after 1,276 shows.
No.
1,270, he's listened from day one. I'm finally making my first donation toward a knighthood. I've been listening to No Agenda since day one. Having followed you both on Twit, Daily Source Code, Cranky Geeks, Tech TV, and Mevio shows.
Massive douche.
He is a douche. That's a douchey guy.
Very douchey.
And this is what happened. You got your whole area locked down. Can I request a de-douching now?
You've been de-douched.
What are you rattling? What is that? You got a ratchet?
That's a Geiger counter.
Stop it.
It's radioactive. China's arsehole. This Wuhan virus has effed my city and state, and something to do with Bitcoin. That's what he wants, I guess, at the end. I don't know if there's a Bitcoin joke. I'd like to call out Daniel Compa, a fellow listener since day one, as a massive douchebag. Can I get a douchebag for each year you've been doing No Agenda?
No.
I don't think so.
No, don't
We're
be
all
crazy.
struggling here in Melbourne with this draconian lockdown, homeschooling kids, and life tipped upside down. Can I finally ask for a Trump jobs karma for all of us in Victoria? We're all the best, and many thanks for the best podcast in the multiverse.
Yes, you can get all of that.
China is asshole.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose, and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
Jobs.
You've got karma.
Well, that has to be. That's not the regular Trump. That's a double Trump.
Well, instead of doing all of the douchebags for every year we've done the show, no, you got a double Trump.
I think double Trump needs to be requested as. I'm just telling this to the people for the future.
A double Trump?
If you want to hear that again, it's a double Trump.
Let me see if I can do it again.
Jobs.
It's pretty good, right? I did it on the fly.
You did that on the fly?
Yeah, baby.
I thought it was a canned thing. Okay.
As always, too tight for this
Well,
market.
will be now.
Mm-hmm.
Abigail Hines in Alameda, California, right down the street from me, $333. Thank you for your courage. I'm Abigail, a poet in the East Bay, with this donation from me and my brother-in-law, Sheriff Elijah, to call out my shrewd, sexy, and smooth-talking husband, William, as a douchebag. He found Adam on JRE in March, then hit us both in the mouth with the best podcast in the universe. We've been listening religiously every week now and discuss our favorite parts as a family.
Oh.
And I like the fact that poet is listening to the show. This week, my smoking hot husband's birthday is on September 15th, turning 35. He's on the list. So this donation is also a birthday present to him. So please de-douche him.
You got it.
You've been de-douched.
No Agenda has been a breath of fresh air to our amygdalas this year. So the Biden gaffes and Cali clips are pure gold. It's true that the couple at No Agenda's together stays together, although we first heard about the show on Joe Rogan. We were rather disappointed by Joe's decorum during his recent interview with Adam.
Oh, my.
But we could agree with Joe on one thing, that Adam is a beautiful man.
Yes. Facts. Yeah, it's so interesting.
It makes John groan. It makes me chuckle.
It's so interesting how many people have mentioned that to me. And it was just a bit on the show. Everyone, all my guy friends. Oh, hello, you and Rob Lowe, the prettiest men in the planet. It's odd. Everyone knows I'm much better looking than Rob Lowe.
Okay. Onward. Please play a few birthday jingles for my smoking hot hubby. I apologize in advance to John for these jingles. I know it's a lot, but please, as a birthday gift, it'll be funny. Adam is the one who bitches about the excess number.
Why are you apologizing to him?
Yeah. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't care, because Adam has to do them.
Yes.
Trump, get it aroused. Don't eat me, Bo Biden. Biden's come on, man, and the whole load. That's true. One orange goat karma for the best birthday wishes to wrap it up. Love and light to you both. Producer credit to William, Lord of Data Streams. The data pronunciation like on Star Trek, not data, please.
Okay. So we have to...
I always say data.
Yeah. So we have to change that producer credit to William, Lord of the Data Streams. So let me just do that so we don't forget that later on. In
Who
all
says
of our
data? Anyway, go on. Hit it.
Yeah, okay, I'm trying to hit it.
It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
Don't eat me, Bo Jordan. You're scary, so scary.
Come on, man.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
That's true.
Orange! You've got karma.
There you go.
I like Fletcher yelling orange. It's become a favorite.
It's a fan favorite.
Dude named James is next in Carnegie, Oklahoma, 333. ITM. I've been listening for just a few months now, and I must say you both do the most excellent job in blowing up the ridiculousness that is our modern media. I should have donated after the first episode, so give me a proper de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
John, I've followed you since the early days of PC Mag. I've always been a fan of your rightful place as a curmudgeon and skeptic. I am much the same way. Adam, you make the show work so much with your unique insight. You guys beat anything on TV in years. I have hit several of my friends and co-workers in the mouth, and they are fans now too. Keep up the good work. Give some stereo goat karma to all the dudes named Ben out there needing work. And I gotta hear some Manning. All hell is gonna break loose. And a Biden, come on, man. Take care, guys. Take your pick. Stay safe or go F yourselves. Damn, I hate hearing stay safe. Well, so do I.
Okay. All right.
Come on, man.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
You've got karma.
That Manning thing is popular again.
Out of the blue.
No, it's not out of the blue.
I fall into these accents with these guys from their.
That actually sounded like the cartoon Sheldon. I think is that the cartoon.
I think it was more comic book guy.
Oh, it was comic book guy. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, he sounded a little like that. Then he dropped out of it, and I lost it. Sir Trusgnich, Baron of the Philippines, and Poplar, as in the tree, Bluff, Missouri. 333. Greetings, Sir Anthony Trusgnich, Baron of the Philippines. Sir, please give this, Baron is spelled with one R. Please give this executive producership to my ravishing, there's another one, a switcheroo, to my ravishing cottagecore goblin princess Brittany Trusgnich. Andrew Horowitz needs some love too. Dvorak, take the mic, and Adam, drop a beat. Go, Horowitz. Jeez. For the jingles today, Eat Donuts, Not Kale by Margaret Trudeau, and a heaping dose of, I don't know if we have that.
I've got
and
it.
A heaping dose of general karma, and a heaping dose of jobs karma.
Oh.
Okay. Never gonna give you, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye.
Like eat kale, not donuts.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
I guess he wanted us to rickroll. I guess that was the idea. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
I read it as it was written. I didn't sing it. It didn't say sing this. Now
it said Dvorak, take the mic. Adam, drop the beat.
Oh, then he talked about jingles. It was too much for me to deal with. Let me ask you a question though.
Okay.
How did you get that Trudeau clip?
By looking at
what was it titled?
Eat Kale, Not Donuts. So
there you go.
In my system, which is, of course, a regex-based search.
This is what an archivist needs to do.
I'm
accurately name the...
Yes, which is why it's my clip.
Well, it was a good clip.
Yeah.
Sir Richard the Lionheart has a good idea. He's become associate executive producer at $256.93 from Alburg, Vermont. This is a donation to celebrate all the birthdays this month and next, including Adam's. But for my family, my daughter and my daughter-in-law, Annie, last week was on 9-1. My son, Justin, who was still a douchebag, call out. He needs a douchebag.
Oh.
Douchebag. He's on 9-15. My smoking hot wife, Robbins, is on 9-17.
Wow.
I hope these are all on the list. I think so.
I believe
and
so,
another
yes.
son, not a douchebag, is he doesn't listen.
Well,
Jesse's
he's
birthday
the
is
actual douchebag. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's a mega. His birthday is on 10-6. Pick a science jingle. It's science. That's what I'd like.
Oh,
and some goat karma, as well as I will be teaching 140 8th graders science, all virtually.
Oh, my.
Oh, what a thrill. From Sir Richard the Lionheart. Would love to have a Vermont meetup. Hit me up on NA Social if you're out there at VT Tech Teacher. V Tech Teacher.
Well, it sounds like we should be able to get a good meetup set up over there. We got a lot of meetup reports coming in today as well.
Coming up.
Yeah, meetups are good. Okay, here we go, Sir Richard.
Shut up already. It's science.
The science is in. Science.
You've got karma.
All right. Now we have Nick Giori in Milford, Connecticut, 23333. He wrote in an email.
Ah, good.
And here's what he wants at the end, just because I notice it's the bottom. Yep. For jingles, I'd love to hear the Italian noodle gun guy, Joe Biden whole load, followed by a goat scream.
Okay.
If it gets mixed up, I think my PayPal email is so and so. I'm not sure how that works. In the morning, happy belated birthday to Adam. In my usual fashion, I meant to have this donation in 2 weeks ago, but I kept putting it off. I have to say the end of show mixes last show, 1276, on the first Sunday, and this week we're off the hook. They were so good that I immediately had to walk over to my laptop and pull the trigger on making the donation. I also recently received my Deep State University t-shirt and love it. When it arrived in the mail right away, I tore open the box on my doorstep like a 6-year-old kid on Christmas and showed my girlfriend, to which she replied, "You have a problem." But don't worry, I'll turn her with a few more jab crosses to the mouth. I've gotten her to listen to a couple of episodes on car rides when we make dinner.
No.
It'll happen. I get immense value from this show, more than I could afford to put a dollar amount on at the moment. Not only for the media assassination, but for the karma. It's worked. I'm 29. I just bought my first condo on the coast of Connecticut, which is not easy right now since you literally have to body check New Yorkers who are fleeing the city and buying up every property available on the coast with cash well above asking price.
Douchebags.
Yeah. It will make my commute to the middle school I teach much easier. I teach a mixture of classes on gender studies and race equality. No, I'm kidding. I couldn't help myself. I teach Spanish and Latin. We need more people, by the way. Less gender studies and more Latin.
More Latin, definitely.
Latin's been passed over. He goes on.
It's a hot new scripting language.
What, Latin?
Yeah, it's a hot new scripting language.
On the other note, before I wrap up, I have to plug Dean Carlin's podcast called The Hardcore History. Many of his fellow JRE converts surely know this podcast, which is the most entertaining but densely informative history on everything from the Mongols to World War II. My favorite, ancient Rome and the fall of the Republic. The fall of the Republic bears many striking similarities to what we're going through now. He goes on with the phrase, politicians are like diapers, they should be changed often, and for the same reason. It about sums it up. And thanks for all you do. Boom.
Yes.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
Nope, got the wrong one. Damn it. I keep doing that. I got to play the right one for the guy. Where do you think it's this one? No, it's
I'm gonna shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit.
That's the one.
I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
You've got karma.
All right. Sorry about that.
I know where that one came from. Jackie Green, 22222. We have a lot of people in the first half. The second half of the donation segment is going to be quite short, so Happy belated birthday, he writes. Adam.
Thank you.
Also, happy birthday to my smoking hot wife, Kylie. Kylie, yes. This donation will go towards her future damehood as girl Kylie of Gamehenge. I don't get the reference either. Great job on Rogan, by the way. Hopefully it brings more folks to No Agenda and Mo Facts. Can I get a Sharpton dealer's choice and a WTC7 in honor of her birthday, which is on 9/11? Thank you for your courage, the Green family.
RESPICT. WTC7 won't go away.
And we got the birthday listed.
Anonymous in DeKalb, Illinois.
Isn't that DeKalb?
Says DeKalb.
Yeah, that's
DeKalb is in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
And it's called
you are right.
DeKalb.
Right. DeKalb. See, even worse. Okay.
They have a funny pronunciation for it. DeKalb. DeKalb is DeKalb, I think. Anyway, DeKalb. And it may be misspelled, I don't know, but it just comes right off the spreadsheet. It's not something I sent in. I'm a regular No Agenda listener living in western suburbs of Chicago, 29-year-old gay white male, 6 foot, 165.
Stop. Isn't that the standard man?
No, the standard man's 5'6".
Oh, all right. Okay. Gotcha.
This could be the standard gay man from Illinois.
That would work.
I don't think so. 6 foot, 165. I've grown up in the northern Illinois area. I'm a dude named Ben. I value honesty, level-headedness, and the use of critical thinking when looking at things happening in the world and the media. I do not smoke. I'm a Christian. I have a dry sense of humor. As far as my political leanings go, unaffiliated sounds pretty good. So that's what I tell people when they ask. I'm looking to make new friends and then see where things go. And yes, it feels very weird to be writing this message, and it'll probably feel weirder to hear it being read in John's voice. But I'm giving this a stab in the dark to see if there happens to be a like-minded No Agenda listener out there hearing this. Go to the meetups.
Yes, meetups is the place to go.
Meetups. And Chicago will have meetups.
I hear meetups are great for cruising.
And you always find there's always one, maybe more, gay people.
Definitely.
One, maybe more, but usually just one, spook. Spot the spook. That's the name of the game.
And if you get them both in the same person, that's an extra bonus.
Oh, boom!
The gay spook.
That is the double. That's the double whammy.
That is the one you're looking for.
The gay spook.
Okay, so what does Anonymous
Anyways, he continues with an S. I have piqued your interest. If I have, you live in the northern Illinois area. We're a similar age, and you're looking for not to murder anyone. Please contact me at the gay no agenda listener at mail.com. I'll repeat it for him. Gay no agenda listener at mail.com. Jingles, ISIS and American dating karma. Thank you.
Okay, so one other recommendation besides definitely going to one of the meetups, get on noagendasocial.com. We're all pretty weird there, and you can post anything you want.
And most are gay, I'm thinking.
I think it's true.
ISIS.
Oh, my goodness.
We will follow them to the gates of hell. ISIS. I feel good.
And here is some serious dating karma for you.
You've got karma.
Of course, we want that to work out for you. But yeah, meetups for sure. Meetups and No Agenda Social.
Eric Granick in Columbus, Ohio, 21012. Short comment. This is Eric from Grove City, Ohio. Meetup. I've listened to the show for over 10 years and I've been a douchebag. But don't he says, but please de-douche me. Okay.
You've been de-douched.
Please give jobs karma to all. And to all a good night.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
There's only two more. Sir Brian in Royal Wootton Bassett. The land of the hounds in Great Britain, UK. 20728. I've been slacking on my donations to the show lately, but here's 20728. What I'll save by not watching the NFL this season. It's the only sport I look forward to, and I've been watching since they started showing it here in the UK. Until now, the kneeling was bad enough, but the black national anthem, stickers on helmets, and end zone messaging is too much for this black football fan.
Hello.
Yeah, that's what I say. Hello. I finally called my cable company this afternoon to cancel my sports package, but instead came away with a cheaper deal and all my current channels. Cable bundle pricing is even crazier than movie economics. I took the cheaper deal and will just not watch football.
Yeah.
Please give everyone some karma to help them through this next few months and keep up the excellent work.
Just as a content point, since, it's just us here, there are some fools who skip over this. I thought that this was the time for soccer to make its move. And because we've got baseball, we've got basketball completely BLM'd out. We got the NFL BLMing all over the place. Oh my God, soccer's 10 times worse.
Oh, I'm too bad.
Oh my goodness.
They screwed up. They screwed the pooch.
But here's the problem. Isn't, sports just like give them bread and circus? Isn't it a necessity for a modern society, Western society? Don't we need some kind of sport to be able to, in a safe place, release our aggression and our competitive spirit? If that goes away, will we just be bashing each other in on the street?
That's the idea. Hello.
It seems like that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
You already considered this?
Hello, Oregon.
Yeah, this is nuts. All right, what did he need here? I'm sorry. Karma, yes, of course.
Just some karma for if we'll get through the next few months.
You've got
it.
Karma.
I love that. By the way, that's the kind of note I just love those notes.
Yeah, it's a great note.
Showing that the people that they're targeting for this stuff hate it.
Yeah.
Black males that are football fans want to watch football.
Yeah.
They don't want to watch a bunch of political messaging.
And again, how much money is that costing?
Oh, it's good. They don't know yet.
No, but I mean that advertisement placement, BLM, that's on shirts. It's where prime advertising go.
It's stupid.
Are they paying for it? Is BLM paying for that? Do you think it's truly out of?
They've been intimidated into doing it.
Jeez.
They don't know what they're doing. You're talking about a bunch of the classic guys that people bitch about, the white, rich old white farts that really, fart's the right word, that really, they only hang out with each other. They don't have a clue, and they get freaked by certain things, and they don't know, and they're watching the news. They're watching too much of the wrong kind of news. They don't listen to the show.
So there's an incredible, there's an incredible vacuum being created for some kind of sports franchise. I mean, how about Highlight? Isn't there something we can pick up?
Greyhound racing.
I like Highlight. Isn't that how you pronounce it? The fucking ball you can't see. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Highlight, the National Highlight League.
There's still Highlight.
Oh, I know. All of a sudden, I know. It's time for women's field hockey. My favorite.
Well, they get an audience of one.
Yeah, wait until you see those skirts.
Did you wear tight enough pants? They'll get more people.
It's the skirts, John. They wear skirts. It's the bouncing skirts.
It's like the women's panty football league or whatever it was called. Lingerie league.
Oh, God, that was...
Those girls could play pretty good.
Fencing, fencing is also a socially distanced sport, and I happen to be good at it, or used to be good at it. So I could do commentary, color commentary for fencing. Okay, all right, I got you. Dame Patricia of Biscayne Bay.
Dame Patricia of Biscayne Bay, $200, and she wrote a card. She writes cards, which I really appreciate.
Yes,
a lot of them go on the wall. You two are good at supplying the news.
We're a hoot.
I cut my, what the hell is this word? Oh, I cut my cable.
Ah.
Sorry. I have to wear the other pair of reading glasses. How bad it is. I'm experimenting to see if I can survive my Netflix and Amazon Prime and what I read online. Just, in other words, no cable, just Amazon and Netflix. And us.
Yo.
I am requesting jobs karma for my... It looks like it might be daughters, or
I think it must be daughters. Dame Patricia has kids.
No jingle, she says. XOX, love, kisses, hugs and kisses. Dame Patricia.
Yeah, we got jobs for everybody. Of course, for the girls.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Okay, I have another idea. Roller derby. Roller derby.
Actually, roller derby comes and goes, and it might make a comeback.
We have a team. We have a team in Austin. We got a roller derby team.
I bet you do. The Austin Slammers.
No, it's something else, but apparently they're pretty good. Let's see, Austin roller derby. I think Elise knows one of these women who are there. What are they called?
Well, there used to be male roller derby too. I mean, it's not just women.
Listen to our. No, I know, but here we have the Texas. It used to be the Texas Lone Star Roller Girls. We have teams in Austin: the Cherry Bombs, the Hellcats, the Hired Guns, the Holy Rollers, the Putas del Fuego, and the Rhinestone Cowgirls. Come on, man, that's a sport.
So you have your own league there.
We have a league.
Teams in a league.
We have a league. Yeah. Ah, interesting.
You should go see it. You haven't even seen a game and you're already promoting it. Have you gone to one of the games? You should have gone to one of the games. You should
look, I tried to promote soccer, and then we got screwed on that because they're all BLM'd. No. Thank you to these executive and associate executive producers. These are credits that you can use anywhere. One of our producers sent me a note about that. I don't know if I can find it, but he said that he just keeps putting it in his updated resume. He does the whole list of all the episodes he's been an executive or associate executive producer of, and it seems to be working for him quite well. So this could work for all of you, but more importantly, you know that you've provided value back to the show that you're producing, the one that gives you value in the first place. So it's this circular thing. It's a network. It works, and we love it very much, and love the fact that you've supported us once again for the show. And we'll thank other people who came in $50 and above in the second segment. And please remember, if you'd like to support us, support the work. If you want to produce this show, all you have to do is send some value our way by going to
Dvorak.org/NA.
That's it. High alive for the win. Either that or roller derby. We're on the move.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Well, why don't we talk about Black Lives Matter while we're at it? Okay. I have a number of things to discuss. First of all, this Black Lives Matter, just want to remind everybody that this is worldwide. This is not, this is not just something that's in the United States. In fact, in the Netherlands, as you know, they had a Black Lives Matter protest there. And there's a rapper in the Netherlands called Aquasi, and he incited pretty much a riot in Amsterdam during the BLM protest, saying that if he saw one black Pete, remember this is the big controversy in the Netherlands, they have their own version of racial tension.
Pete okay?
Soot Pete, Soot Pete would be okay, but if he saw one black Pete, which would be a white person who has black makeup on, as is the tradition, he would personally kick that person in his face. And this is going nuts. But now you have the controversy is that he was arrested for incitement, but he was basically let off really easily by the judge. The Dutch have a very interesting justice system, and the judge, up until 2 weeks before this hearing, I believe, was the sitting chairman of the Amsterdam Region Discrimination Point, who were all members of the Kick Out Black Pete Club. So it's like you've got the whole justice system
kind
on board.
Biased?
Yeah, well, this is how a Black Lives Matter takeover works. And it's just fantastic to see that Black Lives Matter applies everywhere, apparently. Here's Scandinavia. Justin Trudeau's government announced a $221 million business loan program for black entrepreneurs. Do they have special blacks in Canada I'm unaware of? Do they have slaves? Do they have slavery? Are they racist assholes like us?
Hello. My name is Ahmed Ishmael, co-founder of House. On behalf of myself
Lamar Taylor, Abel Tesfaye. We would like to welcome everybody here today for this historic occasion. When we first started House, we knew that the system was broken, and we didn't want to waste our time complaining about it. We wanted to envision solutions that would last and make sustainable, real impact. And today is one of those days that, as a young kid who grew up as a political science nerd, dreams about, because to have an active, responsive government that's being able to adapt to the issues at hand and not want to band-aid this no more and believe that systemic racism and opportunities are not equal and take the uncomfortable step of doing something about it instead of pointing fingers. This is something that I've never really witnessed in all my life in every country that I've studied.
I really want some information on this, and our Scandinavian producers, I'd like you to send me everything you've got. Is this carve-out, this $221 million Scandinavian dollarettes, which I think is about $1.50, is that for people who just have black skin? Is it for Muslims? I think this guy might have been Muslim. Is it for immigrants from? I don't know. I mean, this seems like I haven't heard enough about your clear racial issues, you racist Scandinavians. Do you know anything? I mean, seriously, where's this coming from? No, somebody because it's a global takeover. We're being programmed into this. We're being programmed into it. And let me give you...
Get off the phone.
Yes, exactly. I'll give you a perfect example. This is really jarring. I'm going to play most of this clip. This is on Spirit Airlines. And the flight Spirit Airlines. Spirit, you know, like a low-cost airline.
Yeah, Spirit Airlines is one of the low budget. Crummy airlines.
So up near the front of the plane, which is not first class because they don't have that.
No, can't have that.
The flight attendant is walking back up the aisle and needs to get to the front to, I believe, close the door or finalize her check. And there's a passenger, a woman, standing there who will not let her pass. And she says, I'm not ready. You can't, no, you stay there. To which another woman interjects, and then she gets a mouthful, and this just keeps on going. And listen to what's being said here, because this is the state of where we're at. So I should mention the passenger has a dark skin. I don't know if she's ADOS black. I don't know what she is, although she does claim to be an African queen. And the flight attendant and the intervening passenger are both white women.
Now, don't push me. Sit down. You see what she did? I need to get to my car. Me. Ma'am, I need to get to my door. She want me to go to jail. Y'all see how she antagonizing me? Valerie, y'all see how the lady doing me? Look, and then she coming. Look, all I'm trying to do is use the bathroom. Watch. The lady is getting aggressive with me. You're not listening. I'm not a child. I'm grown. I'm trying to use the bathroom. The lady is coming. I see the bathroom. Now she needs to get to her door. Can I get to my bathroom? No. What do I gotta listen to? No, I was blocking you. What I gotta listen to? Are you my boss? You are white privilege. You're not my boss. Okay. Sit down. Oh, thank you. You're not my boss. I need to. And you're not my boss. You're white privilege. Sit down. You don't have privilege over me. Oh, I don't. Thank you. You have privilege. No, but all of a sudden you got to go back here. You wait for me to get to my bathroom and have respect for me like you've been having. Call them now. Call them. I need to get to my door. Good. And I need to get to my bathroom. So you rate and respect people. You have white privilege and it's not here. It's over with. It's 2020. Yes, it is. Wake up. You got a mask on. Yes, I do. So you're under the government too. You're confined. And you don't have white privilege anymore. I'm a queen. California. She was from a black queen. Okay, well, I need you don't talk because you so privileged that you got to get to somebody else and tell them you're not listening. I don't have to listen to you. Then go to the bathroom. You don't run me. You go to the bathroom. You shut up and stay in your lane. Okay. You have nothing to do with this little girl.
Stay in your lane.
I'm not talking to you. Listen to your mama. I don't care. She should have told. I know you don't care. You so grown. Ma'am, I need to get to my door. Okay, thank you.
So what happened here, and it's something we've looked at before. The minute the woman accused the flight attendant of privilege, the brain froze. And she could not say, actually, I do have privilege in this aisle on this aircraft, and I do have that privilege. Legally, I can tell you to get off the plane. And that's where it all went wrong. The privilege word came out. You get privilege.
Well, this
brain freeze.
This was all escalated because the stewardess was an idiot.
Yeah, she made a big mistake.
She should have had the woman thrown off the plane, called the cops, or went right to the captain, who wouldn't put up with this, and escorted the woman off the plane. What does that take? It happens all the time. There's always some screwball on a plane. Not every flight you go on, but let's say out of 1,000 flights, this happens, and you have to act appropriately. Spirit Airlines is classic. It's like Ted used to be with United. Remember Ted?
Ted, yes.
They have incompetent people working on these flights. That woman's just incompetent. Yeah. The stewardess, flight attendant. She's an incompetent bonehead. She should be fired.
Yes, but I think they need
because it's inconvenient for the rest of the passengers. We got to sit there, watch this. It's like embarrassing. It's uncomfortable. This is not what we go on an airplane for, to watch this kind of this battle. Yeah. Fired. It's her fault.
I agree. I just was pointing out that the minute the privilege term is thrown at these people, the brain freezes. You even heard her go. You even heard. I'm sorry?
You wouldn't freeze?
No, but I'm not your typical. Yes. That's because I'm a no-agenda producer.
Liberal.
I don't think it's a typical. I despise these labels: liberal, Democrat, Republican. No, this is.
I didn't say libtard.
I didn't say that either.
No,
I said even liberal. I don't know what her political conviction is. These people. This is the mind control that I'm talking about. She's mind controlled and deathly afraid of speaking against being accused of asserting some type of privilege. That's got to stop, because she does have privilege, certainly in that situation.
Oh, yeah. Now, like a cop has privilege.
Actually, no. Cops have lost many privileges. That's exactly the problem. It's exactly
the problem.
Do you know
cops
that
need privilege?
In Austin, the defund of the police has started, which, oh, yeah. No, we're talking $100 million that they want to cut from the police budget here in Austin as part of their Build Back Better, whatever. And our governor, who is obviously in an election cycle, who has some things to make up for, because no one really liked when he closed the bars again. After all, we're in Texas, son. He is promoting a new campaign to combat the nut jobs of Austin.
Governor Abbott's pledge to back the blue, is that a winning political argument right now, given all the unrest surrounding police shootings?
He's asking candidates on both sides of the aisle, ballots this fall to back the blue and vow to keep police departments whole if they're elected. And it's just the latest in a string of announcements from the governor in response to the so-called defund movement, which isn't exactly defunding. It's diverting oftentimes money to social services and other community services to help people, aside from just the police responding every time. And so you've seen him say that he'll back legislation in the coming legislative session that would freeze property tax revenues of those cities that slashed law enforcement's budgets. And then just last week, in the strongest move since, he said that he would back legislation that would allow the state to take control of the Austin Police Department, its operations, its budgetary decisions, and the city would be on the hook for the tab.
Well, you better hurry up, because it is getting worse. The crime is up in Austin. It's up everywhere, but crime is up. Police presence is down. I think it was 2 nights ago, I heard gunshots, and we don't live downtown.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. 2 different calibers. It was around 1 a.m. Oh, yeah. Just to go back to what we were talking about with the labels, because, again, I don't view, if I see someone who is clearly exhibiting idiotic behavior, I don't immediately assume a political persuasion.
I do.
I know you do. I look at them with love and think, my God, your brain is tricked and you're broken, and I don't know. I don't know if you can fix it. But Jason Whitlock, who by far is one of my favorite guys, who has pretty much gotten kicked out of ESPN. They've tried to deplatform him off of his own Outkick.com, which I don't think is working. I think he's doing quite well with that. And he weighed in, and I bring it up because he used the liberal tag many times. He weighed in on the professor from George Washington University, the white professor who basically said she was black, and her name was Jessica Krug for many years. How long was she there? Like 10, 15 years?
I don't know. It's a funny story, though.
And, I just wanted to play his response to it.
This really blows my mind, but where we've gone in this country is that there is a business built around racial grievance. And that business is booming at such a level that white people are like, hey, I'm going to adopt a whole new identity so I can benefit from being baby Al Sharpton, baby Jesse Jackson. And in academia, this is being embraced, and she's been able to pull off this scam. But it's not just her. This isn't just an anecdote. We've had it with Rachel Dolezal. We've had it with the Sean King guy on Twitter, who is white, who has pretended to be black, who has lied and said that, oh, my mother slept with a black man and she didn't tell anybody about it. All of these people moving into the race bait industry and business, and it must be very profitable and lucrative because everybody wants to be down with the cause. And y'all know that Jessica Krug is just keeping it real. You know, I keep trying to explain it over and over and over again, and people think I'm crazy. The branding has been so strong that if you put on this label of being a liberal, there's virtually nothing you can do negative against black people that will be seen as negative. White liberals, I'm sorry, they're the actual bigots. And I know that that's going to blow a lot of people's minds, but liberalism to me is now the new KKK hood. The bigots used to hide under hoods. Now they hide under the label of being a liberal and a progressive. And that allows you to be as bigoted as you want to be. If you want to call yourself an anti-fascist and support Black Lives Matter as a white person, that means you can go out into the street, tear down neighborhoods, harass people, say all kinds of disrespectful stuff to white and black people, and it's all good because allegedly you're fighting racism. Allegedly you're on the side of black people. And actually, if you evaluate their actions and their mindset, they actually can't stand black people, have no respect for black people, think very little of black people, and certainly aren't working towards our benefit. The world is just upside down. It's a big lie and a scam, and people are, I call it like white liberals are going out on a black person's credit card and making up a bunch of charging up a bunch of things that we have to pay the bill for. They're doing it in our name. This is crazy.
I'm going to back him up on one thing where he says that. Why, cancel culture falls into this. Why hasn't Trudeau been ousted from office for wearing blackface on more than one occasion?
Because he's a white liberal.
And what about, here's another good example. One of the better examples is a Hollywood guy, Ted Danson, wore blackface on a date with Whoopi Goldberg when she broke up with him because of it. This guy doesn't have any trouble getting work.
Well, how come Whoopi doesn't call him out? Again.
She should.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Why not?
Because he's one of the good guys. He's a liberal. By the way, it was Malcolm X. Malcolm X who said it's the white liberal who is the problem. Now, he used the liberal term. What exactly is a liberal even? Help me with that. What is a liberal?
Democrat. Period. Democrat.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Thanks for answering that. Where is this all coming from? Where are the problems? I think it's quite obvious to most who listen to the No Agenda show and produce it that this is the school system, this is education, and it could not have been explained better or proven better by just a short bit of the most recent gag from collegecampus.org. You know, these are the guys that go to college campuses and ask a question, and then they show you all the dumb answers. Of course, there were probably some good ones they cut out. We know how man on the street works.
You'd have to do selective.
It's very selective. But by happenstance and chance, in this case, the question was, what are we celebrating on the 4th of July? And I don't have to tell you how sad it was to see most of these children not know why we celebrate the 4th of July. College kids. Now, these are two, I believe, ex-college kids who were on campus. Maybe I don't know exactly what stage of their education are in, but they are teachers themselves. They have been teaching grade school. Listen to this.
So we're actually two interesting people to talk to. We're teachers. Okay. So I was a 7th grade civics teacher, government teacher, and she is an elementary school teacher, 4th grade, 2nd grade elementary school teacher.
What year did we get our independence?
17-something. So I personally know firsthand that we are not getting taught, specifically in social studies, the history that we need to know.
I actually don't teach what's in our curriculum. I'm teaching children social studies that's not in our curriculum, teaching them things about how to be an anti-racist. Instead of teaching those same 3 famous black people that we continue to teach, I taught them about protesting. I taught them about Black Lives Matter. I taught them about things that are happening currently so that they could make those connections. And when they see it on the news, they're informed. They're not ignoring the facts of our world right now. They're facts that we're actually a racist country.
All right. This woman should be arrested immediately. This is the problem. She's going outside the curriculum, teaching these children, 4th grade, that we're a racist country. Arrest that woman. Throw her in irons.
I can't agree more.
Throw her in irons. That is your problem right there. Oh.
Well, that brings me to what I wrote up in the newsletter.
Yes.
Which is the whipsaw.
It was a good one.
I decided we're going to put together a big, along with the vinegar book.
My book, the book of my life.
And your book.
Podcaster Pro. What else do we have? Our FM radio station. Yes, what else are we doing?
Yes, where's our radio station?
Hold on, stop. Who says I'm pro Common Core? Shut up, you troll. Sorry.
No,
that's just an ass wipe. Yeah,
it's just an ass wipe. So I wrote this thing up about describing the whips on how it works, and I have a couple of examples where they say they make an assertion on television and they follow it up with a clip that says nothing about anything, and it's just bullcrap. But they make you think that they've proven their point. I have 2 of them here as good examples. Mm-hmm. This is the whipsaw with Jiang, the Chinese on CBS.
Mr. Trump condemned looters and rioters and said only he could ensure law and order.
My administration will always stand with the men and women of law enforcement.
That's a really good example because it was so clear, it was short. The first 7 seconds is telling us what he said, and then the last 7 seconds was not at all related. Well, it was related, but not at all what she said he said.
What she claimed.
Yeah.
And so now I have whipsaw number. I have Nancy Cordes doing this similar thing, only with a little more elaboration, and she's a little slicker. And by the way, the thing about Jiang's whipsaw was she called him Mr. Trump instead of President Trump, which is a cheap insult.
Move. Yeah, it's an a-hole move.
Yeah, a-hole move. But here's Nancy.
Almighty God.
But the Senate chaplain, Barry Black, hailed Flake's courage and asked for some divine intervention.
Lord, provide us with more patriots who will stand for right regardless of the consequences.
That's an intervention?
It's got nothing to do with anything, she said. But so I get a note.
Hold on a second. Depending on your worldview, for him to say, just remember who's sending this message. Lord, we need more patriots. To her, that's like, more MAGA! See, the word patriot is now red hat, MAGA, Trump, make America great again. Oh, bring us more of them to fight. I can see how she would interpret it that way.
Well, no, she interpreted patriots as Jeff Flake being the true patriot.
Oh, even better. Okay, yeah. All right, I see you.
So she's seeing the difference. She's got things going on. That's what this guy kind of implies. But he says, my name is Anonymous. I'm a video editor at a major market TV news outlet in Canada. I'm not so sure that these whipsaws are a real thing.
Uh-huh. Really,
TV reporters write their scripts based on the reality as they see it. And then do the clips. They need to back up their assertions contained in the scripts. Clips are typically used in these situations to help move the story along and make it more entertaining.
Who says that? Who says this?
This guy. If Trump, who never donated, by the way.
Who is this guy? Give me a name. What's his first name?
He's anonymous. It says my name is Anonymous.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not going to give you his name.
I didn't know you said anonymous.
I have his name.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. And I didn't hear the anonymous part. Keep going.
Oh, okay. If Trump said XYZ and then the clip said, I am saying XYZ, people would fall over in their chair out of boredom. It's much more entertaining to say Trump said XYZ and hear some weird clip out of nowhere because, as you know, it goes on about how it's more entertaining and to keep people interested so Kellogg's can sell more cornflakes. He says, I don't believe reporters are outright lying. They write what they saw and heard and even extrapolate on those things to make sense of what they saw it and to convey the message. They add the other stuff. Now, this is bull crap. I mean, it's nice he thinks he can buffalo me with this, I'm a TV guy, and I. So I went right to the NBC Nightly News on the first one I could find, the Friday show, and I took the first clip they played, and I want you to, this is the Whipsaw Non-Friday News NBC. I want you to listen to what they assert, what the announcer, what the reporter asserts, what he says, and then I want you to listen to the clip and tell me the clip is just what this guy says they never do, which is, they said XYZ, and then you go to the clip and the guy confirms XYZ, which is what you're supposed to do. He says, no, you don't do that because it's not entertaining. And I, by the way, I should read my retort, which I did send to him. And that goes...
it usually okay, here's your retort. It's going to be 2 lines, no capitalization.
No. The 2 examples I had in the article had 2 comments that were 13 and 15 words respectively, not really long enough to bore people out of their gourd. In the first example, I scoured the transcript of the speech, and in no way did Trump ever come close to saying that only he can ensure law and order. Yet the reporter said it and added a clip not for color, but to back her up. This is dishonest reporting, plain and simple. By your thinking, a monkey washing a cat as the cutaway would add to the entertainment value that you think is so important, needed to keep the audience awake. Personally, I think the monkey would be better than these sketchy practices.
I'd watch it.
So on that, I agree.
I'd watch that for sure. Like, Trump said something horrible. Monkey washing cat. Nice.
Yes. Definitely be fun. Now, let's listen to really... And the thing is about these whipsaws, I don't catch them that often. We only play them once every few shows because they're not common. They're actually uncommon. So what this guy says is bullcrap. They're uncommon. Now, I want you to listen carefully to this clip. This is a classic clip, very standard. What does the reporter assert? And then what does the clip assert?
Pandemic timeline. An FDA-approved vaccine by the end of the year or early 2021. Widespread vaccine distribution by mid-next year. And a return to normal sometime after that.
If you're talking about getting back to a degree of normality, which resembles where we were prior to COVID, it's going to be well into 2021, maybe even towards the end of 2021.
Now, that's the way you do it.
That was good. That was actually kind of a backward thing that kind of made you forget what they said first.
Because it was a confirmation of the assertion. And that's what it was. It wasn't some wild, crazy thing that, that's got nothing to do with anything, which is what these whipsaws are. Mm-hmm. And they're incredibly dishonest. And the guy from Canada I don't know if he's trying to buffalo me or he's trying to bullshit me, but he's full of it. And I'm not buying it. So there you go. So the whipsaw essay, which is in the last newsletter, is well worth reading for anybody out there who wants to do this themselves.
And you're a fool if you don't subscribe. And we have links almost everywhere to subscribe to the newsletter. It's not just some bullcrap newsletter. You know when it's coming. It comes twice a week. And there's, you know what? There's cool cat pictures.
There is.
The best.
Cat pictures, occasionally.
Before we take our break,
puppy.
I'd like to finish up the Black Lives Matter stuff, and I'll do that in. We have a couple of different ways to do this, but the first thing is just quick call back to the sports, because I've had this clip for 2 weeks and I really wanted to share it now that we're talking about it. This is Kirk Herbstreit. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, Herbstreit.
Herbstreit, yeah, he's from the ESPN show.
Yeah, he's the top college analyst.
Ah, yes, ESPN college game. Yes, yeah. So this happened on his show, and they had a sexta-box, so they had 6 people on screen, all dialing in from wherever, and he starts talking about Black Lives Matter.
The black community is hurting. If you've listened and the word empathy and compassion over these last 4 months, how do you listen to these stories and not feel pain and not want to help? You know what I mean? It's like wearing a hoodie and putting your hands in 10 and 2. Oh God, I better look out because I'm wearing Nike gear. Like what? What are we talking about? And so you can't relate to that if you're white, but you can listen and you can try to help because this is not okay. It's just not.
It's not.
And we got to do better, man. We got to like lock arm in arm and be together in a football locker room. That stuff is gone. Those barriers are gone. And we got to do better.
It's one of the things and why sports can be such a leader in this area. It's happened throughout history, dating back.
The guy is weeping, John. He's weeping.
What is wrong with you sitting on this clip? That's clip of the day.
I'm sorry. Sometimes things just don't work out that well, but I'll take it for sure.
Clip of the day.
That is unbelievable.
This is a total breakdown.
This is what's happening. You got the guy locked up at home, can't get out, won't leave that. Probably one of those guys that, like my neighbors next door that won't leave the house. They're getting sicker by the minute. Ugh.
This is a real problem. This is sports. There's no crying in football. I know there's no crying in baseball, but it just none of it makes sense. I'm just baffled. This is when you break down like that, you're either method acting, which is possible.
No.
All the other no,
not this guy.
Not this guy. Well, he truly broke down. He was weeping, and then the 3 other people on screen were weeping. And yeah, we have problems, but this is. No, I didn't hear any solutions through the tears. Let's put it that way. Okay, final 2 clips from me before we take our break because this does. I'm sorry?
That clip was just disgusting.
I'll bring you back. I'll make you feel better. This is from last night. I caught Judge Janine was in the Rose Garden with the president.
Well, hold on. So the other thing is we've got a poverty problem in this country, which is really what the problem is, even with the black community.
Yes.
But whites, too.
Yes,
and
of course.
They never talk about poverty. They talk about anything but poverty, because poverty could be there's solutions to poverty if you really want to bear down and take care of poverty. But this has been not new. And there's nothing new about any of this. This goes way back in terms of the activism of the sort of the Black Panthers in the 60s. This has been a continuum more than anything else. And for someone who's in the business of that, all of a sudden it dawns on them that there may be some issues in the black community or elsewhere, and without even discussing the idea of poverty, and it's a revelation where they have to break down in tears, is absolutely pathetic. How isolated are you?
Yes. As you were saying that, I was thinking that in a way, how exploitative college sports are in general, and probably in particular of black men. How many of them are going to get concussed and will never go anywhere on a hope and a prayer?
Yeah, a lot of them brought into certain colleges just to play football,
just to play
never
football.
given a good education,
right.
Which was a scandal some years ago.
Yep.
These guys never got an education. They got injured, and they're just living homeless.
Bums. Yeah. And so the problem we have, okay, just to jump into that poverty problem, yeah, we have a byproduct of capitalism is nepotism, in my opinion, and we have a lot of nepotism, and that's very normal. Nepotism, you always want to hook your buddy up, your friend. What? Let me finish.
Nepotism goes back way before capitalism.
Thank you. Okay.
The reason that the popes, by the way, if you want a little history, the reasons that the popes became, and the Catholic Church became, so you couldn't be married, is because the popes used to just pass on the next popedom to their kids. And it became extremely corrupt.
You're almost, I was just going to go a little bit further. White privilege started in Europe when the true bloodlines of the elites, and you look at the Queen of England, look at the royal families, they were all quote unquote white. And they brought in a whole bunch of other people, called them white so they could have more political power, even though they were really talking about bloodlines. They just are concerned with their bloodlines. And that's what nepotism is you are passing one on to the next. The queen is going to pass on when she dies to the dude with the ears, nepotism. All right, so that just continues. Look at Baltimore. Baltimore is run by ADOS in general, or you might call them black, brown, African-American people. They are running the town. It's shit. Why? Because they're all hooking each other up. And those people down below them, that's what I would qualify as poverty. It doesn't matter what color they are. We need a bottom. From the top, you give us all the money. We'll distribute it evenly the way we think is right. We'll give 1 to them, 5 in my pocket, buy my book, all that stuff. It's nepotism. That's what's going on. But no one wants to talk about it because all these a-holes are in on the game. So they just make it black-white.
You got that off your chest.
Yeah, because that's what the problem is. You set me off on it. You were absolutely right. And the true exploiter is weeping on television. He's been exploiting the black man. Sure, some of them make really big, and they get all the way up to go kneel on the field. Give me a break. Give me a break. So Judge Jeanine was in the Rose Garden with President Trump, and she, and this is the second time I've seen him do it. This is why I think it's important. She brings up who is funding all these protests? Where's this money coming from? What's the deal? What is this? And I know what she's pointing towards. She is a lawyer, a judge. She's looking at the 14th Amendment. And this is a thing that's going around now. People saying, the 14th Amendment, if you finance insurrection, if you are part of an insurrection against the United States, it's treasonous, and the federal authorities can come in and arrest you. If you finance insurrection, so I know what she's pushing. She wants the president to say, "We're going to go in guns blazing. We're going to take everybody down." He was a little more diplomatic and honestly confusing. So here's 2 clips. The first one.
Let's say there are threats. They say that they're going to threaten riots if they lose on election night, assuming we get a winner on election night. What are you going to do?
We'll put them down very quickly if they do that. We have the right to do that. We have the power to do that if we want. Look, It's called insurrection. We just send in and we do it very easy. I mean, it's very easy. I'd rather not do that because there's no reason for it. But if we had to, we'd do that and put it down within minutes.
So the president clearly understands the 14th Amendment, and he says it's called insurrection. So we can put him down. The guy is amazing. It's like he's talking about dogs. We can put them dogs down. It's called insurrection, so we can put them down. But then he kind of walks it back in this next clip saying he doesn't want to do it that way.
The suburbs is going to be next. Look, the suburbs, the people, these same protesters, but they're not protesters. They're anarchists. They're agitators. They're rioters.
Who are they?
They're people that in many cases are paid.
By whom?
And then they're stupid kids.
Who are they paying them?
People that we're looking at right now. We're looking at them right now.
Can you tell me?
No, not yet, but you'll be going to be finding out pretty soon. Look, they're stupid people, too, because they'll be overthrown as soon as they get their wish. These people don't respect them. They're just using their money. These are super liberal people that have money, and they're helping these anarchists, and they're agitators, and they're dangers. Did you see what happened over the weekend with the people walking up to a restaurant and grabbing the steak off the plate and biting the steak and then dropping it down? Two elderly people having dinner at a restaurant, and they walk in and they take a steak and they take the potato and they eat
that's
it?
exactly the problem. Now you're waiting to be asked in. When is that change? When do you cross the Rubicon?
Well, in Kenosha, they asked me in.
Right.
And we did a job like nobody's ever seen before.
But if they don't ask you in, there
then
are
you're not
American
allowed to do
people
it
who
unless you do insurrection, in which case it's just not big enough for insurrection.
You won't do insurrection before election
you don't need it. You don't know.
Not yet.
Oh, I'd be willing to do it in a heartbeat if you needed it, but we don't need it. Our National
When
Guard.
do you need it?
Our National Guard is so good and so tough.
But they've got
and by
to
the
be
way,
asked.
police departments in places that we're talking about, Seattle, we were going into Seattle, and they solved the problem the night before we got there. We were getting ready to go, and they heard we were going in.
So what do you think that's about? He's saying on one hand, insurrection real easy, and says, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do insurrection. What is the plan here? It's kind of odd to me.
I don't think he has a plan. I think he's aware of the insurrection problem and my favorite, which we don't have any clips of, but these Americans, or as he puts it, stupid kids.
Yeah, the underinformed, over-socialized. That's my line.
Over-socialized, stupid kids walking down the street with "Death to America" signs.
Yeah. That's kind of insurrectious.
That seems insurrectious to me.
It's very...
This is a show title, Insurrectious.
I'm writing it down. And you know what the sad thing is? None of these kids, because they didn't watch The Social Dilemma, none of them know that they had their phones there, and they're pinpointed, they're tracked. We know exactly who lives where. We know exactly who's talking to who. When you are at a protest, if you're in the area that is up down to the meter, if you're not supposed to be in that particular, they're so dumb. They're so dumb. Luckily, Judge Janine had her own suggestion for the president as to what we should do.
Bomb them, and bomb them again.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
And we do have a few people to thank for show 1277. 1277.
Yeah.
Starting with Kara. Kara Smith in Moyock, North Carolina, $143. I will read her note. My husband's a longtime listener and introduced me to it a while ago. Since we both enjoy it so much, it's time we give back the value and start contributing to your show. My husband's 43rd birthday is this Monday. I'd like to make his first contribution of $143 in his name. Another switcheroo, but we don't need it since it's in the second half of the show and it's not dollarettes. I'd like to wish my smoking hot husband, Brad, Greutzmacher, a happy 43rd. And she needs a de-douching.
Got it.
You've been de-douched.
So we need another one?
Yeah, double de-douching.
Double de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Matthew Stegman at 10101, he has some interesting points. He wants you to read that note. I'm not out loud, but just read it. See if there's
actually, no, I'll tell you what this is. It's important. I put it in the show notes. You had asked for information about the back doors in Huawei gear, and he sent along a PDF, which is a complete analysis, which has been published. It is Reflections on Trusting Trust, and it shows if you can just do Control F and search for backdoor, and it'll show you exactly which accounts are hard-coded in there and what the problem is. So it's in the show notes.
Matthew Stegman came in with 10101. He's got the paper for us to read. Joseph Green in Stevenson Ranch, California, $133. Overdue donation. David Keys, Riverside, California, 100. JD Annie Moose from Mach Zero, who actually sent in the notice as a check. And I will say this, you've probably seen this cartoon that was done by, I think it was Kleban. And it's the he sent a note from the United Federation of Podcast Producers.
Oh, what is this?
Oh, he has this to say, by the way. Like Adam's birthday, my gift to you, not heavy to read, my curse, not easy to read, just my normal happy handwriting. Looking forward to the meetup of Flight of the No Agenda crew. But the cartoon he's got at the top of this is great. It's a cop kicking some guy in the butt out of the way, and he says, "Out of the way, you slime, a podcaster's coming."
Okay, now I know the cartoon. Yeah.
You've seen this cartoon. The podcaster's walking with two babes in lingerie with a girl behind him and her heart skipping a beat. It is so funny.
Put it in the newsletter.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the newsletter. It's so far from the truth, you can't imagine.
By the way, Joseph Green, who did the 133, I just want to say that he said it was an overdue donation inspired by attending the 1,000 Ox No Agenda meetup. So I just wanted to add that in.
Ryan Regal's next on the list from Encino with 8008. Sean O'Neill, 8008. Viscount Craig of Northeast Georgia in Atlanta, 6969. Casey Turner in Meridianville, Alabama, 69. Marlon, 6660. Sir, not appearing on this podcast in Richland, Washington, 5678. Not Jake, 5678. Sir Rob, Knight of the Philanthropic Shareholders Federation in Leiden, Netherlands. Mm-hmm. Sir Duma, Knight of the Black Swamp in Holland, Ohio, 5544. Sir Rob is 56. Sir Phenom of the Patriots Nation, 5111. The following people are $50 donors, name and location as appropriate. Starting with Rawson Touchkoff in London, UK. Sir Big Papa Moose of the Ogallala Aquifer in Liberal, Kansas. Clayton Dunavant in Greenfield, Wisconsin. Sir Brandon Savoy, Viscount, Port Orchard, Washington. Kimberly Richmond, Dame Kimberly, as I recall, in Toronto. Mm-hmm. Sir Labrat of the Hill Country in Universal City, Texas. Dame Patricia Worthington in Miami, Florida. And Robert Kerback in Essexville, Michigan. Arthur Brewer in Madisonville, Tennessee. And last but not least, Sir Kyle Meyer in Atlanta. I want to thank all these folks for making 1277 possible.
More than possible. You actually have produced it, as usual, including the people who came in under $50. That is typically for people who want to be anonymous, like $49.99, or you can do multiples of those. And we have many people who are on our recurring donation, sustaining producership donation, which we have a variety of them. You can actually find all of them by going to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And we had a couple of karma requests, a jobs karma request. Specifically, we got it from Sir Duma, Knight of the Black Swamp. He wanted a shot at jobs karma. He's actually close to his Baron status. So for anyone else who needed that, we have it for you right here.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And thank all of you for producing the best podcast in the universe.
It's a birthday. Oh, no agenda.
Wow, man, another month is almost halfway over, the 13th of September. Here is our birthday list for today. We have Kara Smith, who says happy birthday to her smoking hot husband, Brad Greutzmacher, 43, on the 14th. That'll be tomorrow. Abigail Hines, happy birthday to William, Lord of the Data Stream, on the 15th. Jacob Davis, Knight of the Deep Blue Sea, 37, on the 16th. Sir Richard the Lionheart says happy birthday to his daughter-in-law, Anne, who celebrated on the 1st of September, his douchebag son Justin, who celebrates on the 15th, his smoking hot wife Robin, who will be celebrating her birthday on the 17th, and his son Jesse, October 6th. And finally, Jackie Green says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife Kylie. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. No title changes, and we have a singular knight ready to hop up here at the round table, so that we can get a one-night blade.
Here you go.
I got it. Hey, some guy from Arizona hopping up here, man. It's your turn all alone right here at the round table. The No Agenda Knights and Dames, thanks to your support of the No Agenda Show, you are an Insta-Knight. You came in over the $1,000 requirement. We highly appreciate your support of the program. Thank you for your courage, and I'm very proud to pronounceate Sir Rancelot, Knight of the Vitriolic Diatribes. And for you, we've got something that we always had at the round table, negative rights and positive rate of time preference. Also with that, hookers and blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Brazilian hotties and cachaça. We got Rubenesque, Rumen and Rosé, geishas and sake, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts, ginger ale and gerbils. Well, of course, we have mutton and meat if you would prefer that. Head over to noagendanation.com/rings. Eric the Shill will be very happy to help you out and get you your official No Agenda Night ring and your sealing wax, and obviously the required certification of authenticity and the powers that you have bestowed upon you. And thank you for supporting the No Agenda Show. No Agenda. Is like a party. That's right. The party was raging. We have 3 meetup reports for you today. The first one is from the Out of the Park Pizza Meetup in Anaheim Hills.
Hi, this is Anthony. The Dogs Are People too from the No Agenda Meetup here in Columbus, Grove City, Ohio.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm going to pass
I don't know if that's the right one, but we're playing it anyway.
it around, everybody. Adam and John.
Hi, I'm Jason from Amish Country. Thank you for your courage.
It was like a party.
Who are you?
Amanda, we really do have ants.
I'm Tyler, and I missed the phrase from the Shays.
This is newly knighted Sir Bubba Hotep, and thanks, guys. Yeah, it was like a party. Hotep and build.
Hey, this is Jason Sparks. Amen. Fist bump.
And ants. Like them, we also have ants.
Hi, my name's Eric, and I'm a douchebag, but this is my promissory note for donation.
Hi, and we got a great time here. Everyone got along, no triggering, and we're looking forward to you coming to visit us at the Hot Pockets 2021 tour. Woo! All right, everybody, 1, 2, 3. In the morning.
All right, that was obviously Columbus, Ohio. This one, I believe, is our Park Pizza in Anaheim Hills.
In the morning from Dan the Douchebag here at Out of the Park Plaza. Thank you to Adam for his Joe Biden moment.
This is Crystal.
This is Ryan Darrow, where together we can't get anything done.
This is Widow Garrett at the Out of the Park Pizza.
Hi, this is Dame Monica. Thank you for your courage.
ITM boys, this is Squire Mike. I'm here with Dame Mon and my friend Jeff. We punched him in the mouth, hog-tied him, threw him in the trunk, and we dragged him along to the meetup. We got a new listener.
Welcome aboard, friends.
Hi, this is Renee in the morning.
In the morning, in the afternoon at the Plaza Station where we're eating pizza instead. This is Mark.
This is Steven and
Dame Swagger Prince of the Orange Curtain, ITM.
we hate Brussels sprouts.
In the morning, this is Andrew. I want to give it a shout out to Jeremy and Bruce, who hit me in the mouth 1 year ago today.
This is Brian, the drunk millennial, all the way from Weed, California.
Wrapping up with Joe Campana, soon to be Knight. This is a great get-together.
That was a big meetup. There was a lot of people there. That was a good one.
The In the Morning group chant was quite nice.
One of the best ones, yes. Now Niagara Falls, Ontario.
We're here at the No Agenda Niagara meetup. This is Sir Saturday reporting.
This is Dame Catherine the patient. I think the best part of today's meetup, other than meeting Sir Dwight, was shaking a hand during COVID and watching the servers cringe as we sat there for 3-4 hours.
This is Sir Dwight the Knight here at the Flying Saucer Restaurant. This meetup has been out of this world.
You love it? You want it for Christmas.
Yeah, I do. and they send some pictures along as well. These are fun things to go to. And yeah, you might be able to date there as well. I don't know. But you will find people you would never probably bump into in your current day life, and you'll find that it's very fun to chat with people from different countries, children from different lands, different ideas, but there's no triggering. We all get together and we can be as clumsy as we want to be, and often it is accompanied with alcohol. Here's what's on the calendar at noagendameetups.com for Wednesday the 16th. That's coming up. We've got the Western Plaza of Denver Museum. That's another Denver City Park sit-in. On the 18th, Friday, Amsterdam No Agenda meets the TPO podcast. That's Sir Roderick, and all those guys up there. It's the second time they're doing it. The 2020 Back Office Listening Tour, stop number 3, hits Missoula, Montana. Also on Friday, the Springfield, Missouri Super Spreader event. We're pre-announcing it. Will be on Saturday the 19th. The Espoo, Finland meetup. This is good. That's the first one, I believe. Yes, the first Finland meetup on the Saturday, the 19th of September. Ravintola Fat Lizard Otanime Espoo, Finland. Please go to noagendameetups.com so you can understand what I just said. Also on Saturday the 19th, the Seattle No Agenda meetup at 2 o'clock. And still ahead for the rest of this month on the 25th, the Kansas City meetup, Corridor Monroe, Washington, Long Beach, California on the 26th, Local 404 on the 26th, another back office stop tour in Fort Collins, Colorado on the 29th. And in October the 3rd, Washington County, Pennsylvania, New York City, NAMU, that's the 4th for their meetups there. On the 7th of October, St. Pete Beach Hurricane Rooftop meetup, the 2020 Back Office Listening Tour in Provo, Utah. And on the 13th of October, that tour will also be stopping in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Keeper and I are evaluating if we can join you. It's No Agenda Meetups. It's just like a party. Check it out, noagendameetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody knows you're the same. It's like a party.
Like a party. Whew. Well, we have kind of run out of time, actually, unless you got something you want to... We just don't have enough time, not enough hours in the day, really. Do you have something?
I have one last clip then.
Okay, well, do we have an end of show ISO would probably be an important question here.
No.
I have one. Ready?
What is it?
You're screwed.
It's perfect.
It's Ted Cruz, and I'll play his clips on Thursday, I guess. It was pipeline clips.
Good clips.
Good pipeline clips.
Ted's been out and about.
Yeah. All right. What you got
to
wrap it up?
Just a good news comment. Says everyone needs to know about this. Apparently, got a new agent, got a new publicist, and Greta Thunberg, she's got a new movie coming out.
Oh, no. And where do I find this clip?
Under Thunberg movie.
Oh, I was looking for Greta.
Let's stay with the environment. Greta Thunberg is pretty much the most famous climate activist in the world. She's become the face of a global youth movement. And now she's having her story told at the Venice Film Festival. A new documentary looks behind the headlines to give a more complete picture of the teenager from Sweden.
In a few weeks, school will end, and I've been invited.
Nearly the whole world knows her name.
In New York.
Greta Thunberg.
Time is running out.
The documentary about the climate activist is showing out of competition at the Venice Film Festival.
And since I
Am Greta by Nathan Grossman followed the young Swede for 1 year.
If I can be some kind of bridge so that people can identify more with the climate crisis and understand it more, then I guess that is a good thing.
Venice is also struggling to cope with the effects of climate change, with the city suffering from floods almost every year. Climate experts warn the city will at some point be submerged. Director Nathan Grossman, who's visiting Venice for the first time, says a change of direction has long been needed.
And it's such a beautiful city, it's such an heritage, and I actually thought to myself when I saw these fantastic structures that it would be such a sad thing to see a place like this get devastated by a rise in sea level, of course.
To the world. Thunberg did not come to Venice. She joined the conversation by video link from her school. The film is expected to be released internationally in November this year.
Do we have a title yet for this film?
I Am Greta.
Oh, shouldn't she slip in a Build Back Better somewhere?
Well, I Am Greta, Build Back Better. That's what it should be.
I'm Greta, build back. I am Greta, are you better? Build it back again. Well, that's very depressing. I thought we would have something fun to end with. All right.
Oh, and by the way, apparently Venice is in the water. It's some.
No. Oh, no.
Have you ever heard this before, that Venice
No, stop. Don't tell me that. Say it's not true.
It's just, I don't know what they're going to do about it.
Bunch of idiots. As we were talking about advertising earlier, I just want to let you know that the president has advertised to me through his text advertising, and here's what he says. Did you get his text just now?
I had to kill these things from all these candidates. I couldn't take it.
Well, right after I got
7 times extra.
Are you kidding me? President Trump has extended your 800% match offer for 1 hour. Can we tell him you stepped up, friend? Donate now. But the one that just came in, it's all caps, so I'll do it with the megaphone. Joe Biden wants to destroy the Second Amendment. It's all caps. President Trump texted you. It's urgent. We're short of our goal. Will you step up? 7-time match. See, now I'm in the shit club. I went from 8 times match to 7. So I'm going down the totem pole. And Joe Biden wants to destroy the Second Amendment. Oh, my God.
I heard that.
Yeah. You think anyone's affected by that? Will they actually go nuts over it?
In Texas.
Yeah, exactly. End of show. Now, I don't have enough time to play all of them, but they will carry over to Thursday. We've got Jesse Coy Nelson, some Lucky TV, and Rolando Gonzalez. I got a cap it at 3. After this program, we have Grumpy Old Ben's on the No Agenda stream, noagendastream.com. And, of course, we'd like you to remember us at Dvorak.org/NA as I am coming to you from Opportunity Zone number 33 here in the capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Texas, which is FEMA region number 6 in all governmental maps if you're looking for it. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where they're thinking of changing the name to Smokeville, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday right here on No Agenda. Support us. Do the work. You got to be doing the work. Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, everybody, adios, mofos! And such.
Last night, the United States brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Abu Bakr Baghdadi. Abu Bakr. The United States has been searching for Baghdadi for many years. Baghdadi, he died after running into a dead-end tunnel. Baghdadi is dead. And he died in a vicious and violent way. He died like a dog. Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi, and now he's gone. Baghdadi, Bakr, he died like a dog. Baghdadi, running and crying. Baghdadi, I got to watch much of it. Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi, and now he's gone.
We have to build back better.
It's not that funny, is it?
Build it back better.
Don't know what it is.
Build back better.
Build back what?
It's not that funny, is it?
An ambitious and responsible vision of how to build Canada back better.
It's not that funny, is it?
But this moment also gives us a much greater chance to be radical. Build back better. Build back bolder.
She said this butter's bitter.
But the COVID-19 pandemic can also be a moment for resolving long-standing conflicts and addressing structural weaknesses. 4 sets of priorities can guide the response to build back better and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals.
Build back better. Better build what?
We have to build back better.
Build it back better.
Build back better.
Build Canada back better.
build back better, build back bolder.
To build back better.
If I put it in my batter will be beater, but a beater that I butter will make my batter better than
This will not be the last pandemic. But when the next pandemic comes, the world must be ready, more ready than it was this time. Part of every country's commitment to build back better must therefore be to invest in public health as an investment in a healthier and safer future.
It's a war that the kingdom of man has tried to win for millennia, and they're not going to win this one, and they haven't won it in the past.
They're taking a weapon of war that was designed to counter ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and they're using it against American citizens.
You're in this police state of a virtual prison by all the cameras and the facial recognition systems and the limitations on you.
You go and you take people who are already closed off and operate in a very, very small circle and then tell them they can't even have that circle.
Of people 18 to 24, 25.5% said that yes, they have seriously considered suicide, not in the past year, but in the past 30 days.
What if all of a sudden one of those neighbors came and burned my house down? Just came across, set it on fire, and burned it down.
They've turned it into warfare by spreading this COVID-19 that is originating and coming out of their food processing processes.
I'm sick of the lockdowns. I'm sick of hearing about suicides. I personally lost my job. Sick of watching the economy collapse.
That is the real terrorism going on, and the fear from it is making everyone upset, making everyone overreact, and is at least partially causing the violence in the street.
And on top of it, here's $1,200 and see you later, bye.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
You're screwed.
You are listening to NoAgendaStream.com, the best source of music, talk, and infotainment in the universe. NoAgendaStream.com. Up next, Hookers and Blow.
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com. All talk, no commercials, no agenda.
The reason I don't go to a nude beach is the kind of people who are naked in a nude beach are the kind of people you don't want to see naked.
Hello and welcome to episode number 93 of Grumpy Old Ben's for Friday, September 11th, 2020. I am Darren O'Neill coming to you live from a bunker deep in the heart of Middle America, just outside of Chirac, where it's dark outside, but it's only rain. It's not fire.
And from America's left coast, which is, in fact, currently burning down due to mostly peaceful wildfires, I'm Ryan Bemrose.
Well, they're very, very peaceful. And the photographs that I've seen out of the Bay Area are just surreal, man. I mean, it's,
yeah.
I don't even know how you would deal
from
with
where
that.
I'm sitting, I can't see any flames, but I tell you what, the air quality is just freaking awful. So if you hear a bunch of hacking and coughing and lungs falling out of my mouth, that's probably why. And you're going to have to deal with it because I may or may not remember to mute it.
Air purifiers, man, you need that. But see, when you have an area where you want the windows open for the temperature, I guess air purifiers don't really work because.
Well, yeah, I can shut all the windows, but with no AC, it's going to be 85 degrees in this room. And I'd really rather it be cooler.
It'd be a no win situation. No doubt about it.
Well, unfortunately, it's also a no wind situation, which is the real problem.
Oh, there you go. And it's something that. That's interesting to watch this situation. But the usual suspects on the left are blaming this, of course, global warming. They want to forget that.
Where has global warming been this year? It's an unprecedented level of lack of global warming hype this year.
It seems like it's taken a vacation, but the reality of the situation is a lot of the California wildfires, from what I understand, and I'm not an expert, I don't live in California, but from what I understand, a lot of this is due to crazy liberal policies to protect the environment that prevents the power companies from clearing the brush around the electrical lines.
That's why for years I've maintained that BLM is a terrorist organization. And by that, I mean the Bureau of Land Management.
You know, it's just insanity. So we need to save the world, save the environment. That's why we can't clear the brush by the electrical lines. But we know that if we don't clear the brush by the electrical lines, there will be massive fires, which will cause way more damage. It makes zero sense.
Well, I don't know how much you can, I mean, you know, the latest excuse du jour is climate change or environmentalism, but really this goes back to long before California turned into a progressive paradise. They've just been piss poor at maintaining, you know, it was the policy in every modern world country to say, well, fires are bad because they cause damage and therefore we need to stop all fires. And that's been 100 years of policy. And some places they finally started to recognize that actually if we let small fires burn, then they don't get really, really big and out of control and burn down entire counties when they get out of our control. If we just let them burn when they're small and then burn out. And I don't think California ever got the memo because they are still stuck in this, we must protect everything. You know, believe it or not, the carcinogenic smoke caused by entire towns burning is known to the state of California to cause cancer.
Everything is. What isn't there a sticker on when you buy it now that doesn't say California thinks it causes cancer?
I don't know.
It's California.
You got me. Yeah. No, California absolutely causes cancer. Cancer of the mind.
If we could just have somebody go out there, maybe Larry, because he lives out in California, maybe he could just go all the way up and down the border.
Yeah. He needs to not live in California. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. He can just place explosives all down the border, set them off, and push California into the ocean. Just saying.
I still claim, you know, we just build a wall, make California pay for it. The problem is I'm not even sure which side of the wall I'd be on anymore.
Well, in your area, you know, you'd be on the wrong side because that whole left coast is kind of California. I mean, there's not much difference now, except that maybe it's some prettier landscapes up where you are, that the policies in Oregon and Washington, not really much different than California at this point. So
yeah, it's pretty far gone.
There's not much we can do about it.
So I ended up only going deep dive into two stories. So I hope that you brought all the shallow stories. I got two categories in my notes. One is the Portland ban on facial recognition, which I went in and I went ahead and just read the actual PDF that came from the city council, and it reads like a fucking social justice manifesto. My jaw was on the floor. And then my other topic, the other thing that I have is under the cheery headline of Happy Terrorism Day. Because as you pointed out at the very beginning of this episode, it is 9/11 today. It has been 19 years since the greatest false flag ever committed on American soil, allegedly.
Well, there's no false flag about it. An event happened. Now, what caused the event?
Yeah, they didn't actually fake knocking down a couple of office towers in New York. They actually did it.
Right, but there's a lot of speculation on who was behind it and that the government
who was they?
You know, and that's all a little bit too insane for this podcast, I think. But it's an interesting thing in how the world has changed over the last 19 years. And I mean, next year it's going to be horrible with it's the 20th anniversary. But looking back.
From my notes, I ended up with three different articles that were the best articles I could find were retrospectives from 9/11 of 2011, because it was the 10-year came out, and that was where somebody had finally gone out and collected a bunch of facts. And, you know, better them than me, because I don't collect facts. I just read articles and then complain about them.
Right. You don't want to do the research yourself. That seems like work.
Sounds like work. Yeah.
But it's interesting to me because remembering back to 2001, we had a president that was a Republican. And I know there's probably Republican in name only.
We have people voting and rioting in the streets who aren't old enough to remember that, by the way.
Yes.
Keep that in perspective.
Which is a very interesting thing when you look at doing a big psyops kind of a thing, that why you don't teach history, that there are kids now, which you and I would both call 19-year-old kids that were literally just born, that we have no memory of this actually happening. But when this happened, George Bush was taking very similar flack that Donald Trump has been taking, not as bad, but he was taking the flack of it started out with he's an idiot, and that's fine, that he's a buffoon, he can't do the job, he's a moron. I mean, this, like Trump, then somehow morphed into he's an evil genius, which I still don't understand how both of those things work.
Well, he flops back and forth, obviously, depends on the day and the journalist.
Well, yeah, a lot on the journalist, but that was the concept that the country was somehow united when the event happened is totally not true. And a lot of people feel that there was a New World Order thing being ushered in at that time. And the events that happened on 9/11 did something really weird. They brought everybody together. It didn't matter if you were black or white. It didn't matter if you were rich or poor. The people that worked in civil service, the cops and the firemen and the first responders, the paramedics, they were all labeled as heroes, and rightfully so. And I don't think we have ever, not in our lifetimes at least, there has been nothing that has been that unifying for everybody in the country as that. And it had some really positive effects for a short period of time, but now it's kind of like none of that ever happened. We're right back to, we've had racism since the Civil War. No, wait, we've had racism since the country was even formed. And
we've had racism for as long as there have been humans. Let's not delude ourselves.
Right. Well, the concept of racism, yes. The concept that the country was founded upon racism, now that's a little bit of a newer thing that's being pushed.
What we call that, we refer to that as bullshit.
Yes, there are always bad actors. There's always going to be racist. There's always going to be people that are dicks. No question about it. But that doesn't mean everybody in that civilization falls into that. And 9/11 was unifying. I mean, it's interesting because the people that hated on George W. Bush, and there were plenty of them, and again, it maybe wasn't quite to the point that people are hating on Donald Trump, but I remember the first Yankee game that was played after 9/11. Bush went out and threw out a first pitch, which was really ballsy to do at the time. Because
was it a ball or a strike?
He was a good pitch. It was a good pitch, if I remember correctly, which was really more impressive on the fact that you knew he had like 14 bulletproof vests under his jacket, and rightfully so. I mean, you're going out in as much as you want to think you can secure a stadium that Yankee Stadium holds like 74,000 people. As much as you think you can secure that area, you really can't. So it took some cojones for him to get out there and throw the first pitch. But I don't think there was anybody that was booing him. Got a standing ovation. It brought the country together. It didn't matter what political party you were. That was the lowest thing on the rung. And with all of this nobody cared what religion you were. Nobody cared what color you were. It was, there was maybe some anti-Muslim sentiment, and I kind of get that. But there were people, including Bush, that were like, this isn't all Muslims. Because a Muslim commits a crime doesn't mean that's the whole religion. The same thing. No. If a black person commits a crime, doesn't mean every black person's bad. Just because there's a white racist, not all white people are bad.
Rare pushback against the systemic fallacy of stereotyping that seems to be pervading the entire country.
And it's coming back.
It never really went away, but yeah, it's not systemic racism. It's systemic stereotyping and systemic taking people and dumping them into categories. But that's social justice in a nutshell. I agree with you. 9/11 was probably the moment of the highest level of U.S. nationalist pride since World War II. And it's funny how Has it been a generation? We're close to one generation later, and nationalism is just straight up out the window. People on the left are, when not openly preaching globalism, are doing everything they can to tear the country down. And people on the right are, I've seen a lot of reaction to that, but I haven't seen a hell of a lot of nationalism, unless you count the white nationalists, which of course you can't get any good information because there's so much crap information from the media.
Well, it's turned out to be a dirty word, being proud of your country, being a nationalist, being somebody that will stand up and say, I believe in the country that I live in. And now I don't know what your feeling on the subject is, whether it's a good thing or not to have pride in your country. I think there's only two choices. You're either proud of your country or you're not, and you want the whole world to be one world order. And I think there's much bigger problems in the latter of the two.
Well, as you may have learned from 90 plus episodes of this show, I am a militant individualist, and you take pride in yourself. God damn it. If you can't do that, then you've got serious psychological problems. Now, I'm not really a joiner. I don't sign on to be counted in any demographic group in general. In fact, that whole identifying as an individualist is a little suspect. But when framed as a decision between globalism or nationalism, then yes, nationalism is closer to individualism, and I will absolutely support it. If you decide that, should I support the U.S. federal government? Well, versus the UN, yes, I do. Versus individual states, no, I don't. Do I support individual states against local counties or sheriffs? No, not really.
Yes, it is really the trickle up.
I feel like it is natural human nature to want to feel pride in your tribe, but the United States is far too big to be considered one tribe. I think that's kind of it's an artificial construct, and yes, it's something that here you can take pride in it, and at the moment it's out of vogue to take pride in but it's kind of an arbitrary geographical distinction. I personally have a lot more culturally, socially, and geographically in common with people from Vancouver, BC than I do with people from Florida. But there's an arbitrary line on a map in between here and there. So I don't know. I hated on nationalism before it was cool.
Well, yeah, it comes down to a system where freedom in the individual cities, in the individual states, are supposed to usurp everything. The federal government's there, allegedly, I think, in the way that the country was originally formed, to have things like, well, we're going to need an army to protect ourselves from other countries. So there are certain things that should be federalized. We don't necessarily want to have every state have their own army, although now that might not be such a bad idea. But to me, there's nothing wrong with being proud of your country, and you should want to make your country better. It's the same thing. You should want to make your town better first, and everything trickles up, just like government in the United States is supposed to trickle up, meaning the towns do what they want to do. They have their own laws and regulations, and then the counties, and then the states, and all this. It is a thing where you just keep drilling down. So you're right. Everybody lives differently. Everybody might want different regulations. I mean, hey, if one town doesn't want to allow alcohol, that's their right. The next town over does. That's where everybody's going to go to drink. It's just the way it works. But this concept that we are stuck in some kind of a time thing where nothing has ever changed is getting really tiring. And I don't have a problem with people that want to stand up and make their lives better. I believe the system here in the United States was set up to do exactly that. Everybody can make anything of themselves. We look at Barack Obama, guy that came from nothing, became president. So you can tell me there's some kind of ceiling, but I don't know what that is. Yeah,
he was a real rags to riches story. He started out as as a CIA-sponsored trust fund baby, and from there managed to vault himself all the way to the presidency.
But he wasn't. He wasn't a CIA trust fund baby. What are you talking about?
I was just listening to a little too much Mo Facts.
Was that what he's saying? I don't know. I need to.
About 6 episodes ago, he did a deep dive on Barack Obama, where he pointed out that the CIA part might be wrong. I don't remember exactly, but he did point out that even before entering office, that Obama was the recipient of a trust fund from his adopted father, who was, I don't know, some kind of Neil Connor. I'm getting all the facts wrong, but that the thing that stuck with me was the idea that upon entering office, Obama had more money than Trump.
I have never heard that. I don't believe that. I guess we need trolls to prove this one way or the other. But
Gummy Nerds has the link already. Big Bank Barry on MoFax 44.
Well, just because it was on MoFax doesn't mean it was true.
I thought everybody here loved MoFax. Did I miss a memo?
No.
Is MoFax out of vogue now?
But it doesn't mean everything is absolutely
that
true.
guy does actual work, actual research. I mean, he does. He looks shit up. He brings clips. He does a lot more work than I do. So I've got to just kind of feel like he has something to say.
I've heard other people that do the research that have a completely different story on Obama. So I guess we need some fact checkers all the way around. But the concept that here in 2020, that we're living in a year where being black is still a major disadvantage to living your life the way you want to live it, I don't buy into it, which is why when people talk about systemic racism, they always talk in very general terms. And the best they can come up with, seemingly, is that the cops are unfair to blacks and they kill them. But as we talked about Leonidas, the guy you added his show to the No Agenda stream, was happy to hear that he talked about the stats, which was when it comes to people getting killed by the cops, bigger percentage of unarmed white people that get killed by the cops than unarmed black people. So the whole narrative is incorrect, but the way the stuff is getting pushed, and I do the rock and roll pre-show. I like music. I'm always looking for new music. And I found an album this morning, which was by a young black woman, and it was a country album, which is always interesting to me because there's not a lot of black people that are doing country music. I mean, Charlie Pride, one of the greatest ever. The guy from Hootie and the Blowfish, he's doing some country music now. Why can't I think of his name? I always just refer to him as Hootie. Darius Rucker, right? But overall,
what's music?
What is music, right? You know what music is. You like Rage Against the Machine or something like that. But this was a song that was, the single from this album. And this is on a major label. It was on like Capitol Records, something like that. So this wasn't like an individually released thing either. So this is a young black woman who has a record deal. Now, I don't care how much you say the music business is going to screw everybody. You have a record deal. You're doing better than me as an old white guy. You got a record deal. Okay. But there is a track on this album called Black Like Me. And this kind of stuff to me is not helpful. And it's kind of getting cringeworthy that you read the press that they're put out, it expresses, addresses racial inequality and blah, blah, blah. The lyrics, little kid in a small town. I did my best just to fit in. Broke my heart on the playground. I like when they use as a lyric. When they said I was different. Well, who said you were different? I mean, I don't understand. But okay, so you're different. But that's different's a bad thing? I don't know. But now I'm all grown up and nothing has changed. Yeah, it's still the same. It's hard. It's a hard life on Easy Street. Just white painted picket fences as far as you can see. And this is the chorus that I thought was really great. If you think we live in the land of the free, you should try to be black like me. Now, these aren't really hard-hitting lyrics. I'll give you that, but
edgy, very edgy.
It's this concept that, well, how is being black affecting you in a negative way? I mean, the first verse just says you grew up in a small town and you were different. Well, I was different too. I was taller than everybody else. My eyes sucked. I couldn't play in Little League because I had a heart condition. Couldn't participate in gym class for a bunch of years because of the heart condition. I was different. I was treated differently. But so how does that make me different then? How do you decide which different is good and which different is bad? Now, the next verse, my daddy worked day and night for an old house and a used car just to live that good life. It shouldn't be twice as hard. Well, how is it twice as hard? A lot of white people work day and night. A lot of Asian people work day and night. A lot of Mexican people work day and night. How is this any different because you're black?
Because they get to cash in on their white privilege card.
Wait, where do I get to cash this in?
Well, it only works when is nobody around to observe it. Like if you're in a room with nobody else but other white nationalists, then you just get to whip out your white privilege and show it around, and then everybody gives you everything. Isn't that how it's supposed to work? I don't know. I've never been invited to one of these parties.
I don't know. As a big white guy, I think I should be invited to these things, but no. And then
you're not white enough.
Maybe. I don't. You know what? If I go out in the sun for more than like 5 minutes, I burn. So I don't know if I could really be any whiter. You know, the Irish were not known for a lot of pigmentation in our skin, but the bridge. Oh, I know I'm not the only one. Oh yeah. Who feels like I don't belong? Well, what does this have to do? Why don't you feel like you belong? That's the question here.
I don't know. This reminds me of one of the points that my brother Bemlet loves to bring up about. There was an interview, an NFL interview. Russell Wilson, the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, was giving an interview where he was talking about he was railing against the white reporters in the room, saying, you people don't even understand what it's like to be a poor black person growing up these days. And I'm like, Russell, you don't understand what it's like to be a poor black person these days either, because you're a fucking NFL quarterback.
Right. And that's where the disconnect is for me. Now, if there are issues, I want to hear about them, but don't just say, oh, I feel like I don't belong, because that's everybody. Everybody feels like they don't belong in some way, shape, or form. I don't think there's anybody listening to the show right now who is thinking to themselves, gee, you know what? In my whole life, I never once felt like I didn't belong somewhere.
You're right. I'm not listening to the show right now. Oh,
you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. That would ruin the dynamic that we have going.
I was about to say something like, well, I feel like I belong, but then you went with, everybody listening to the show. I'm like, no.
Right. That excludes you. See, that was very carefully crafted. But there's, again, if there's a problem, tell me specifically what it is. When you say there's systemic racism, tell me where it is, and then we can fix it.
That would be in the colleges.
Right. I mean, Bill O'Reilly last night, he went full Bemrose. I mean, he didn't have the veins popping out of his neck or anything like that. But he made the exact point you have made, which is
my vein staples are still holding.
Yeah, that's good. That is good. Those must be the extra strength ones, because you give them a workout. But he said the exact same thing you did. These colleges are now fighting racism by doing more racism. And it's nuts. It's nuts, where they no longer want to have merit-based. There is no more colorblind things. It's going to be, oh, you're black. Okay. It doesn't matter. You're dumber than the next guy. Doesn't matter. You don't play the sport as well as the next guy. We'll still give you a scholarship because we need a black guy. Okay. And then we need this. We need this. We need this. No more merit-based, which says to me, there's a problem. And that is, people are not being treated equally. And this is the biggest bullshit when it comes to these things. All this racial stuff or anything else, it's the bottom line should be to treat everybody equally. That is the only thing that can be fair. The minute you start taking people and going, we're going to give you special treatment, no matter if that's good, better, or worse treatment, if you're giving any one group special treatment based upon the amount of pigmentation in their skin, that's wrong. That is racism. That is never going to lead to anything good.
It is. And the poster child for this kind of policy that I always go back to is something we talked about quite in a lot of a lot of depth on Grumpy Old Ben's 86, which was California Assembly Bill 5, the one where California legislature is amending the state constitution to remove all of the things that people fought for and rioted for back in the 1960s, to put into state constitution the idea that we should not judge people by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. And California Assembly Bill 5 is the state legislature going out right now and removing all of that from the Constitution and saying, we actually do feel like we want to judge people by the color of their skin and nothing else.
Well, and it's saying, well, they're black, they're stupid, they can't do the same thing white people do, so we can't give them the same bar.
It's absolutely patronizing. It is the most condescending form of ideology that critical race theory is not only objectively racist, but is also incredibly condescending. You look at this and be like, what? Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Person that has a different colored skin, but knowing nothing else about you, I've decided that you're a total loser who needs my help. Can you be any more of a dick?
No, but there's people that want that because then you don't have to work so hard. You don't have to go through the struggles. You don't have to compete. And this is where the Marxism and communism starts creeping its ugly heads in, because the people that want to go, I just want to sit at home all day and drink booze or smoke pot or masturbate and watch TV. And I want the government just to keep sending me money and food.
You had me until TV.
Okay. Otherwise, that's your typical weekday.
Well, it's the way I prefer it that way. I'd rather not. You know how I feel about work?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And we get it. But there is a world that is merit-based. And when you try to erase that in the way they're trying to do that now, it is without a doubt going down the wrong path. It is people giving away their freedoms. And that was Jim Caviezel. I don't normally listen to actors and musicians and all that when it comes to politics, because then I would never watch anything.
I find actors are far easier to enjoy their work if you don't have any idea what their politics are.
Yes. And although he made the point that the communists, or whatever you want to call them, the Marxists, they are not going to be the ones taking your freedoms. You're the ones giving it away. And I think he's absolutely right about that. And people just have to stand up.
Maybe that's my problem. I'm sitting right now. I was going to say, I'm not giving my shit away.
No, you've got your pile of stuff. You've had weapons.
I do. And I whine every single week about Jay fucking Inslee and his totalitarian destruction of my local economy. And that doesn't seem to be doing much.
No. And,
but we have a really impressive choir and I'm really good at preaching. So,
well, yes, it's always good to vent a little bit. People like that. They feel like they're not alone then. When a lot of the stuff in the news, people just go, well, this is just nuts. They want to hear somebody else say that. It makes them feel better that they know they're not the only ones that think
this
things are going nuts. Yeah. Now, Springsteen also dropped a track, and oh my God, what a boring track.
Is he going to pick it up again?
He should. It's called Letter to You, and it was just absolutely boring. I'll put the link to the lyrics in the show notes. I won't even bore you with them.
Are you going? I was going to say, are you going to? Okay.
And I'm a Springsteen fan, and I don't care about his politics. He's written a lot of really good songs, but this was just the interesting thing to me was this just seemed like a very trite song. It's not even really even trying to be political. It's just like, oh, here's my letter to you. And it's very repetitive, a la Born in the USA, which is fine. I like that song. But
Born in the USA, it was catchy. You could dance to it.
Yeah.
For sufficient definition of dance.
Well, I don't know if I want to see you dance to it.
The only things that I really knew about Springsteen was that I really liked his music on the classic rock station and that he has the same birthday as me.
Oh,
that was about it.
Nice. So you feel a kinship.
I did. And then I realized that, roughly 1 in 360 people have the same birthday as me, give or take. And that's a pretty large club. And I really have very little to do or in common with most of them. So,
The most interesting thing about the Springsteen track was reading the comments on YouTube of the people that were like, it's the second coming. Oh my God, this is what I needed. Oh,